Leche. Leche. Leche.
Introducing PubCoin. PubCoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into PubCoins. PubCoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys soon.
Upgrade your membership to Gold. You will be automatically entered in every horse race, every Wednesday and Friday. It is time to race horses. We are racing camels today.
Shout out to the Gold members. We're racing in San Antonio immediately here. And we're off. 2 minutes, 74 canals on this racetrack. It's wide. We're racing in San Antonio.
Matt Wally moving forwardly. Jeff Slaughter in the mix as well. And as is Randall Sheffield, who's put that beautiful nose out front.
But it's actually real grass here, Jimmy. Maybe Kentucky bluegrass. Oldie, no! There he goes. Oldie in the lead now. K. Wolf falls back. The horses love it. Sometimes they stop and eat it on the way to the finish line. That's why your horses start so far in the back. Here. Oh, look at Nussflush Allen bursting out here. J-Dub in the mix. Rude Boy up here as well. Jimmy, take it away.
There's Oldie. Oldie is moving to the front. We are past the halfway mark in our 2 mile. And there's Ricky Levy.
Oh my goodness, he's in the mix here. Jimmy, take it home. This is our first dog race ever.
19 seconds left in the horse race here. It's Fernando Mendoza trying to find the wire. 14 seconds left. Can Fernando Mendoza take this home? Here comes Kenny Can. Kenny Can wants a piece of the pie. Put his schnoz up front. Ricky Bobby, 9 seconds left. Can Donut Silks make a run? Can Res Mall make a run to be $50?
You son of a bitch!
Here comes Tori Coker. Kenny Can, Smoke and Mirrors, Director 97. Home. That is a way. Here comes Jason Meyer, the Eldorado Custodian, Billy Friedrich. Jones one all coming down the advantage.
Coin! Nowhere!
Oh no! Fanatical Jim!
From the corporate Peter Low Shack, legendary sports handicapper, more dapper than a dawn. Father young phenom, known as Jimmy, who declared one day that the bag was here to stay. Information like a PSA, when we all PSR, Pub Sports Radio, bizarre. Is a man named Slaughter and he flipped the script. No competition in this they quit the trip. But we say we be pubbing, betting with the bag and you love it. We want a top 10, we above it. Leche.
All right. Say hey, everyone. Welcome into another edition of Betting with Bouquett. My name is Jose Bouquett. I am now on the right mic. and we're feeling good about ourselves on a Wednesday afternoon. Nice to see everyone in the chat bright and early here. We have a loaded show for everyone here. If I have something in my hair, I guess. But we have a loaded show for you guys in the afternoon. We're going to talk NHL off the top, 4-gamer, pretty short, but we've got our guy, Mr. Gogster, of course, joining us here. So that'll be a whole lot of fun. We also have Billy Brisbane joining us here in about 30-ish minutes talking NBA. We'll talk about the fallout of the NBA Cup. That'll be a lot of fun here as well. And Mr. 60% himself, Wine Time Sports, who finished up his regular season hitting at 60% this year, like 20 units up on the year. Dominating year for Mr. Wine Time Sports. He'll be joining us with Conor Mac Picks as well, the longtime legend, talking about conference championship. So it's going to be fun. Let's get after it here, everyone. I cannot wait to see everyone in the chat dropping your action. We appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys, I should say, for being here early. Like I said, drop your action in here, like our guy, Justin McKelvey. Justin McKelvey, Stacks play of the day, 1 and 2 here. Let's get the man hot. Let's go, Justin. Stacks.
Stacks, 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 stacks.
Thank you, Justin, as always here. Let me scoot up because this shit is serious. Justin is dropping both his stacks, Texas Tech and Ohio State college basketball there. So thank you, Justin. Truth Teller in the mix here. Shout out to you, Truth Teller. Thanks for being here bright and early. Nuke Worker in here. Ronnie Crawford dropping his spreadsheet plays of the day in here as well. Big shout out to Ron Crawford. Top 5 in the Pub Hub right now. So shout out to you, Ron.
Ron Crawford!
Lot different vibe than it used to be. Shout out to you, Ronnie Crawford, dropping both in there. Toronto -1 and the Clippers today as well. We'll talk about the Maple Leaves or the Maple Labs here in a second. Spade Slayer, serious business. Red Girl in here. Good morning to you, Red Girl. Kelly McInnes, Truth Teller. I also miss baseball, but the rumor mill is a buzzing for my Boston Red Sox, so I cannot wait for all that to unfold here. We'll probably have some news about that in the week. I hope that I am live for when that news happens. We've got Nuke Worker complimenting my hair. I'm going to choose to ignore that last part. Thank you, Nuke Worker, for the lovely compliment here. Moneyball in here. Moneyball been in the chat for the last few days. Nice to see you, Joe Free. And apparently my camera is blurry a little bit here, so I apologize for that. I'm apparently on some shitty Wi-Fi today, according to my computer. So let's bring on our guy here. We've got 4 NHL games to talk about. We've got plenty of time to do it, and I can't wait to talk to him. It's the one. It's the only. The man that, you know, if my life was on the line, I need someone to shoot a 70 golf round. I'm calling this guy. It's Mr. Gogster joining the program. Mr. Gogster, how are you? How goes it?
It's going good. We got the snowstorm. We got a snow globe outside today. You know, winters can arrive in Canada, so good time for hockey weather. We got a good game in Toronto tonight. Nashville's coming to town, and yeah, looking forward to the card today, buddy.
It's going to be a good one here. The Maple Labs on the tip of everyone's tongues today, so I cannot wait to talk about them with you, Gogster. Let's also mute that. There we go. I just need to double check myself now because I'm apparently blurry as fuck today, according to Nuke Worker. But you're crystal clear, Gogster, and I love to see that. How'd yesterday go for you?
It was a good day. 4-3-1 came through with both teams to score, and then both teams to score 3 goals. That was the first period in Florida and Pittsburgh. So that one really helped. I think we're getting up like 3 units there. And then we also hit with Calgary 3-0 there. Didn't have Wolf. It was Darth Vader, but they still were able to rally behind the ceremony for Johnny Gaudreau. Nice 3-0 win. So it was a good day. Hopefully we can carry it over here.
Yes, he was. And Kelly, yes, he does. Yes, he does shoot in the 70s, Gogster. He's disgusting, Kelly. It is disgusting.
I got my buddies are better than me, so there you go. They're
Well,
good golfers.
Kelly, if you're interested in more of Gogster's golf skills, we do have a video out from Palooza of him playing and just being a demon, Kelly, putting a demon as well. So shout out to you, Kelly. Thanks for asking. Nuke Worker has his snowblower ready to go. Something that I can't confirm, never purchased here in San Antonio. Gogster. It's a nippy
grass.
It's a nippy 50 degrees out here, so we're freezing. We're all bundled up over here, Gogster. I know that would make you sick. But
that's golfing weather for me, but yeah.
It is. And T-Moss, if you're interested, let me drop the video in the chat here real quick, because that is an all-time video, I think, Gogster. It's Team Canada versus Team USA, myself. And who the fuck was it was Ixnizzle, obviously.
Ixnizzle, that's right. And then myself and Spenny Pennybombs. Yeah.
It was a great time. And by the way, I said this during Palooza, the best all-around athlete at Pub Sports Radio, put him on any kind of game, ball, surface, and he'll go out there and play well. Ixnizzle.
Yes.
Ixnizzle is... I don't know what it is. Hand-eye coordination, I guess. It's pretty impressive, all while doing it drunk as well. So that's the beauty of Mr. Ixnizzle. All right, Gogster. Let me find this link here real quick. Bing, bang, boom. If you're interested in that show, and that video. And by the way, I forgot. Nuke Worker was in attendance for that match. I forgot about that as well. God,
yes, he was.
It feels like so long ago, but it was just last year.
It was just a few months ago. Good time. Nice win there. Spenny came clutch there on the last hole.
Yeah, and hopefully we can run something back this year, Gogster. So maybe you have to take your clubs through customs and see what happens there.
I'm thinking I might do that. I might do that this year.
That would be hilarious. Gamblestein, nice to see you. Let's get after it here, Gogster. You're a busy man. You've got to sell some hockey sticks, I'm sure. So let's get after it. We've got Boston and Chicago to start off our card here. The Boston Bruins fire their coach. He immediately gets hired. We all know the story at this point. Playing extreme defensive hockey, Gogster, as I've seen it. It's been very interesting to watch how this Bruins team has shifted their last few games. For example, let's see here. I have to pull up their schedule here, because it feels like every time I look up, it's 1-0, 2-0, whatever the hell. So they've won not back to back. Their last two wins have been 6-3 overtime wins, but not overtime. It was 3-2 in overtime against Detroit on Tuesday. 6-3, 2-1, 6-3, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0. Very low scoring games. The 6 goals against those two teams are very interesting for the Bruins. They're minus 150 here against a Blackhawks team that not very good. We obviously know the Connor Bedard show. But Gogster, here's the interesting thing. We don't do market analysis too much on NHL games.
I know where you're going with this.
88% of the bets, 90% of the money on the Boston Bruins. We went from a minus 160 down to a minus 150. Again, we don't do market analysis much, but this is one of those market spots where I really like the Chicago Blackhawks here. I don't follow the markets too well in hockey to see how accurate they are, but I think I might have a small wager on the Chicago Blackhawks in some form or fashion here, Gogster. What do you think?
As you should here. I was looking at the line last night. It was 143 down to 130. Looking at Chicago, guys, they have lost to Toronto, Columbus, Minnesota, some other teams, Philadelphia, Anaheim, but their 3 wins that they've had in the last 10 games are, Jose, against Dallas, Florida, and Minnesota, all at home. Good teams. Those are all playoff teams there, guys. And who they got coming up here? Boston on a back-to-back. I think this is a perfect spot. You got Swayman going. But looking at the special team, just what really stood out, 24% power play, 86% penalty kill for Chicago. That's at home. And then as of late, last 30 days, they're up to 30% on the power play and 86% on the penalty kill. That's a team that's going to start winning some games, I think, in my opinion, at least. And then looking at Boston, 13% power play on the road there, and then 10% in the last 30 days, 81% penalty kill. But they're allowing 40 goals. Actually allowed more goals here. Played a couple more games, but allowed more goals than Chicago has in the last 30 days too, scoring a little bit more. But guys, I think Chicago's live here. Mrazek's going to go too. I'm expecting. Got Swayman on the other side. Looking at the health, Jones is going to be out for Chicago. Brossois out as well, but his team is pretty much healthy now. I just feel like this is a time. First period, full game is where I'm looking. The first period is what I like a little bit more, to be honest. Plus 118. Full game. I'm just looking at stats here. Some third period goals for Chicago's only got 4 goals in the third period this year at home. So they got to start scoring more in the third, but they got 11, then 12 in the first and the second. So they should be able to jump all over this team in Boston, who don't, like you said, Jose, they don't really score too much. Got them on a back-to-back, an older team. I think Chicago's live here, guys, tonight.
Wow, that's fascinating. I agree. I think they're live to win this game. I think I'm going to split my bet. I will split it. It'll be a unit combined, and I'll just put first period full game Chicago Blackhawks here. So that'll be what I'm doing here as well. By the way, I did this, and this is just to pat myself on my back here. I watched a quarter of Michigan, Ohio State this weekend, and I was like, this fucking Ohio State's not winning this game. And I went ahead and I did the same thing with them, and I split 2 units on money lines there. So that was a good time. Yeah, that was a good time. So shout out to Michigan. That was a very funny loss to Ohio State. Yeah, there's 2 seconds. You just watch one quarter of that game. I was like, this is disgusting. Ohio State is not going to win this game. But yeah, let's do it again here. Blackhawks, first period, full game. Gogster, are you doing the first period alone?
Doing both, actually. Yeah, first period and full game, plus 118. I got the first period, and plus 130 on Chicago full game here. And
all right. Yeah. Beautiful. Let's move on to game 2 here. Nashville, Toronto, Gogster. After this breakdown, I'm going to refresh my page real quick. So I'm going to leave you alone in the hopes that my screen gets less blurry here. But Nashville, Toronto, the Maple Laughs, Gogster. I mean, first of all, I want to ask you this. How are you feeling about the Maple Leafs as of late?
Oh, this team, they keep getting wins, man. Like one of the best teams as of late there, especially at home. 2 goalies, too, and Stolars and Wall. They got 2 goalies finally. Quietly, this Toronto team's actually playing probably the best I've seen in a while.
Wow, that's interesting. So I have to ask this. I don't follow hockey too close. Is Matthews back?
Yeah, he's back. He came back, I think, on Saturday there. He got a goal, I believe. But without him, they still won 7 of 9 with him on the IR. And then, they won 9 of 11. And then 7 of those 9 were also on the puck line. So Toronto hasn't just been winning too, Jose. They've been winning on the puck line.
Wow. So they've been dominating as of late. They get Matthews back. They're rolling here. And Gogster, you won't be surprised. I mean, 94% of the bets, 92% of the money on the Maple Leafs here. The line's at least creeping in their direction. Minus 160. It's creeped up to minus 162. Some places open this up at minus 166-ish. I'm going to refresh my odds sheet here real quick. But I ultimately still don't trust the Leafs, honestly. I didn't mention goalies in the last game. I should have. We have nothing confirmed as of yet. It's still very early, but for Bruins, Blackhawks, it's Swayman unconfirmed and Peter Mrazek likely. And for this game, I'm going to refresh my site here one more time. UC Saros and Wall are both unconfirmed there as well. So we'll see who we get. Gogster, I'll pass it off to you here. First of all, who do you think we get in net? And we'll start, actually. We'll give Ron Crawford his due again because I love the Ron Crawford drop. So shout out to you, Ron Crawford. Little Toronto spreadsheet. And then Gogster, please, after, take it away and let us know what you think.
So yeah, Wall looks like Wall is going to start there. They said he's not taking part of the morning skate, which is what his usual routine is when he starts. So Wall 4-1 at home, 938 save percentage, 161. Stolars is just as good, 940. So like I said, guys, these goalies have been just stellar. But the injury list is starting to add up for the Leafs again. McCabe on defense, they're saying he's not right and he's not going to be playing tonight. Hockenpah, another defenseman. Domi's out. McMahon, 2 centermen there. He's out. Pacioretty's been out for a while in camp. So the depth is not there. And looking at special teams, both these teams, 88% penalty kill on the road for the Nashville, 84% for the Leafs. And as of late, both teams are humming around 87 and 81%. I feel like it's going to be a lower scoring game. Nashville is a team, guys, that's had my number. I've probably lost the most at any team this year betting Nashville. They've lost four in a row. 3 of those games were by a score of 3-2. So I think it's almost like they're getting used to losing. I hate to say it, but that's what it looks like. This team, like, you lose 3-2 3 times in a row, like, you think you'd be able to get one of those games, for crying out loud, but they just can't. Soros, he's 2-5-3 with a 913 save percentage. Nothing makes sense for this Nashville team. They're like an anomaly right now. I don't know what to do with them. So it's going to be a no play. I lean to the under, though. No goal in the first 9 minutes, something like that. Good hockey weather, though, up here in Toronto tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if Nashville won, to be honest. Jose, I'm not going to play this one. They're just such a hard team to trust. So no play here in Toronto.
What is hockey weather, Gogster?
Cold snow. That's what I call it.
So you just go cold. You go from the cold and snow on the outside to the cold and snow on the inside.
Pretty much. And sometimes going inside that rink is better than being outside too.
Okay, very interesting. See, these are the things I don't know. We have to ask these questions, guys. We're improving our knowledge here. Let's go to our next game, Gogster. Vegas, Anaheim. Vegas, minus 175 road favorite. It's funny, Gogster. I thought the Anaheim Ducks were going to be good at some point in the near future. And it doesn't seem like that is the case. I really liked Trevor Zegras, and then apparently he just turns out to be a big prick, and he sucks, I guess. I don't know what happened to Trevor Zegras before we get more into this game.
I think he wanted to trade. He wanted out, and then his new contract. It didn't end up happening, so he just kind of settled for what he had. But yeah, a lot of young talent on Anaheim.
Well, that young talent, I don't love it going up against the Vegas Knights here. We've got, again, unconfirmed here both ways, Samsonov, Lucas Dostal. So we'll see if that ends up happening. By the way, for you daily face-off users, this is new to me now. They have rankings or like scores, I guess, beside each of the goalies for their game now. So I'm basically just saying like who has the best matchup against whoever today.
What are they saying on Dostal?
Joseph Woll, fun fact, Gogster, is a 100 score against the Nashville Predators, apparently.
Yeah, really good. Really good.
And what do they put into these numbers, ladies and gents? I guess it's a little bit. It seems like it's a expected goals against, expected saves against, expected saves, and expected save percentage. They put all of that together with win percentage and put a score to go up against these guys. So Wall number 1, Samsonov number 2 there, an expected save percentage of 912. And Wool 911 there. So, these are expected stats that are much different and much new. So we'll see how they shake out. But it's tough to back a minus 175 on the road here, Gogster. 82% of the bets, 78% of the money's on them. So not really too surprising on that aspect. This line, we have another one of these, Gogster. This line opened up minus 170. Down to minus 158, minus 160-ish. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I stay off this game. This would be the dog spot that I'm not very interested in, but it'd be Anaheim or nothing, I guess, for me.
Yeah, the breakdown on those expected goals you're talking about, I was on board until you said Samsonov was the second best. I don't know if I'm on par with that. He's 2-1-1, 895, 3.85 goals against. No one really wanted him. He's second goalie to Aiden Hill. They're on a back-to-back, though, guys. Golden Knights played Edmonton last night. I believe they got that win, too, over the Golden Knights. But it's going to be a no play. I think Dostal, Jose, is better than Samsonov, to be honest. I'd rather Dostal. And he's got, young, a lot, no household names on the defense for the Ducks, where on the Golden Knights, Samsonov's got some beasts behind him, Pietrangelo and company there, Martinez. So this is another no play here. Some information on the Ducks here, playing their best hockey of the year. I have here the Ducks. Gibson is back, and I think that's boosted the team's morale the narrative for the Ducks there. So I wouldn't be fading Anaheim here. They're on the back-to-back the nights as well. Samsonov's not a goalie I really trust at all.
Really?
Nah, not a lot. Like I need to see a lot more out of Samsonov. His numbers on the road are not the greatest. This team's an older team on a back-to-back going up against a younger team. They don't have Leo Carlson though. Anaheim, he's day-to-day. Vakanainen as well, defenseman. Then Fowler, McGinn, and Fabry are out. Stone, Whitecloud, Hutton, and Leonard. Leonard's been out for a while, but those are injuries for Vegas. I have a no play here. I wouldn't talk anyone off the Ducks though. Just playing some good hockey. They've actually won more games than they've lost in like the last 10 days, 7 days, something like that. So the line's telling, very similar to that Chicago game.
Man, it's a funny one. Big Show, by the way, asking real quick. Shout out to you, Big Show, asking about the MLB Golden Bat Rule.
That's stupid.
It is stupid, Goke. So you took the words right out of my mouth. However, it would be a great idea for the MLB All-Star game. It would be a great idea for the MLB All-Star game because those games don't matter. Now, Rob Manfred and his list of people giving him ideas, this is not a bad idea. You just have to use it in the right scenarios. They're just trying to chase the Ohtani and Mike Trout at bat from the World Baseball Classic. They're trying to chase that high again. No, you cannot chase that high like that, Mr. Rob Manfred. But I respect it and use it in the MLB All-Star game, and I'll be interested. Otherwise, no thank you. No thank you. So there you go. Let's go to our last game here, Mr. Gogster.
Yes.
Very good game. Dallas versus the Los Angeles Kings here. By the way, Gogster, I was in Miami this weekend, and I seriously considered taking a very expensive Uber ride up to Fort Lauderdale to go watch some Florida Panthers hockey. I very considered it. Obviously did not, but I definitely considered it. Stars Kings, a good matchup here, Gogster. I'll start with the total. I was surprised to see a 5.5. I'm not going to lie. I expected this to be 6.5, obviously, with a Stars team being very good, etc. But let's talk about where the money lines is, and we could touch on the total here as well. 115 an opener here, now down to minus 109. Certain books here for Dallas. Our money line betting split here is 64% of the bets and 56% of the money on Dallas. We have about 3,000 tickets in on these games. It's still very early, so make that note. But let's talk total here because, like I said, the total is very interesting. I expected a higher total. 78% of the bets, 81% of the money on the over in this game. And we have a 5.5. It was juiced to the over. And actually, some books are already moving this up to 6, which is very interesting here. Yeah, we have certain books moving it up to 6 from that 5.5, which I don't feel like I see very often in hockey here, Gogster. Daily face-off, again, unconfirmed here, but we have old red light David Riddick and Jake Ottinger up there as well. Gogster, by the way, I know we just talked about the expected stats here from Daily Face-Off.
What do we got?
Shockingly enough, I thought this was low. A 62 score for Jake Ottinger there. A 907 expected save percentage there. Expected goals against 2.7. So very interesting there, about a 50 win rate here. You can see why the line is where it is. Red light right behind him as well. 48% red win percentage, a score of a 50 compared to a 62.5 there. For 886 expected save percentage there. So
what?
Yeah, I guess. What do you think, Gogster? Preach.
I don't know. Like, he's been pretty damn good. They're playing a good team. They'll be tested tonight, but he's 6-1, 931 save percentage, 1.44 goals against. Like, honestly, Ottinger, I believe last year too, he wasn't as good on the road. And honestly, he's been okay. Like, I don't know. Ottinger's a little, I don't want to say he's at his best years are behind him. He's still a young goalie, but I just haven't seen the same Ottinger I have in the last, 2 years ago when they had that playoff push. Kings and Stars here. I'm going with I'm going with the LA Kings here, guys, tonight. Trying to think. I don't have as many stats here. Oh yeah, 8. So they're 8-2 at home, 37 goals for, 22 against. And then on the other side here, the Stars are 6-6, 37 for as well, but 37 against. Both power plays are around 23-24. Penalty kills are below 80%. But as of late, their advantage goes towards to the Kings. Both teams' power plays have dropped off a little bit, but the Kings' penalty kill has improved, where the Stars has slightly decreased. So I would lean towards the Kings a little bit here. Kemper, they got a little more injuries though. Lewis, centerman. Kemper is now out for the Kings. Doughty's been out for a while. Jones, Kaliev, Thomas. Sagan's out for the Dallas Stars. He's out for a couple more weeks. So I just think that the Kings here, looking at their lines too, guys, just Alex Lafreniere, third line right winger with Deneau and Fiala. That's a really good third line, Jose. They're getting production from a lot of, Byfield, Lafreniere, Kempe, Trevor Moore's on the first line too, Warren Fogle, who they picked up from Edmonton. They're pretty young on defense too, Brent Clark, a couple young guys, Jordan Spence as well. So I think they can win this one. I actually doubled up too on the Kings here. I'm taking them first period and full game, -102, +100. Same as the Chicago game there, guys. Let me just quickly bring up some more stuff here. Yeah, Dallas 2-1, 3-1, 5-3. Winnipeg, Utah, and Colorado. Both teams have been winning of late here. I just like I like them at home, and also I remember this too. They played in the playoffs, I believe, Jose, and Dallas wiped them. Dallas has had their number 2 of late. Newer team here, I think, in the Kings. It will be a test here with Riddick there. Those numbers you said with his expected goals, it will be tested tonight, but I would lean to the under as well in this game, but I'm going to trust the Kings here, guys. First period money line -102 and the full game +100.
All right, so you're doing the same thing here with your Bruins game. Kelly McInnes says, hate to go against you, Gogster. I'm on Dallas money line here.
I get it. I feel like I had a better case on the Chicago bet than I do on the Kings. Reason why I just think this Kings team they're 14-11, but they're a damn good hockey team, especially at home. They've beaten some weaker teams, but they beat Winnipeg at home 4-1, 5-2, 2-1. Defensively, they've been really good. Riddick's been solid as well. And you're talking about 5.5 totals. That's been their number. Really, the last 6 or 7 games, the line has been 5.5, and they've been winning for the most part. So the lower scoring game does feel like it's in the cards. Should be a good test. Should be probably the best game of the night in this Dallas Kings game, but should be fun tonight, Kelly. Good luck.
Good luck to both of you as well, Jermaine on LA Kings -1.5 there as well. Let's get a little recap going, Mr. Gogster here. It's going to be a fun day. How cold is it over there right now, Gogster?
Probably like 18, 20 Fahrenheit for you guys.
Wow, look at Gogster doing a little conversions. Oh,
like that, something like that. It's cold last night, I'll tell you that. But yeah, snow globe right now. Actually, if I can turn it for you guys a little bit, kind of see a little bit of.
Jeez, no, thank you.
Yeah,
no, thank you. There, my Venezuelan ass would not last.
One day
you'll be last. Yeah, no. If it snowed here for like 2 days, Gogster, and the whole damn state shut down. So, no thanks. But let's recap action here, Gogster. I'll go first since I'm actually going to have some NHL action tonight. Chicago Blackhawks. First period, full game. Money lines for me. Going to split up a unit between both of them. So it's going to be a very fun day for me, Gogster. Your action here.
All righty, going up against the team in Boston. I like it. Original 6 matchup 2 here. Boston, Chicago. I'm on Chicago first period and full game +118, +130. And then the LA Kings over Dallas should be a good game. I'm on the same thing, first period, full game, -102 and +100 tonight. Go Kings.
Whew. Go Kings indeed. Gogster, it's a pleasure as always to have you on yesterday, today. I love talking hockey with you. Can't wait for Pubblepalooza 4. Right. Guys, we're going to keep mentioning Pubblepalooza because it's going to be here faster than we know it. Date hopefully is going to be announced very soon here as well. I'd like to announce it this week, hopefully. Get people planning, prepared, ready to go for that. But whenever it is, Gogster, I hope you bring your clubs because we have a golf outing to get to And I've improved, hopefully, since the last time you saw me. Anything you want to plug before you get out of here?
I can't wait for Pub Guys. Should be fun, usually in March. We got some AHL action tonight. I'll see if I'll tweet some out. Probably won't, though. I don't like the card. But yeah, NHL guys, follow me on Gogster99. We also got some golf. The Heroes this week. So I'll tweet out. I got a little assignment for myself tonight. I'll cap the card for golf and tweet an old Gogster 6-pack for the Hero, or less than that, a 3-pack, because there's only like 30 golfers for the Hero Challenge, which is Tiger Woods' tournament.
Wow. All right, Tiger Woods having a turn. By the way, I don't know if you knew this, but Tiger Woods is doing like mini golf courses now as well. Pop Stroke, I think it's called.
Okay.
Something you can research, Gogster, because there's one in San Antonio now as well. It's like I guess high, tech, high upgraded mini golf, I guess. So of
course it is.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun here. So Gogster, thank you as always, my man. I appreciate you joining here. By the way, Gogster, if I need a hockey stick, where the fuck am I going to go buy a hockey stick from?
The Hockey Stick, man, guys.ca.com. Check it out.
There you go, Mr. Gogster there. Flick the wrist. Go top shelf with that bitch. Mr. Gogster, shout out to you, my man. I appreciate him. As always, Dabby Cab joining us in here, dropping some college basketball action. I will save that for college basketball. We're going to jump into NBA right now. We've got a few games here. We've got some fallout from the NBA Cup. Might ask our guy, Billy Brisbane, if he likes any futures or whatever it may be on the NBA Cup, because we have our quarterfinals, I think it is. They're calling it semifinals, whatever it is. But let's bring them on. The one, the only, Getting Bills with Billy Brisbane. Billy, nice to see you. The Locker Room Talk podcast just dropped last night. One Big Show Picks is in the chat right now, so it's nice to see you both in here. Billy, how goes it?
It's all right. A little bit frustrating day in the association. I felt like the reads were right, but just got burnt by a couple of hooks in the late night games. It was a great start off to the night, and then it kind of just died down. It was like, all right, you cashed your next bet. Have a nice night.
Well, let me tell you that the Wemby going 0 for 7 from 3 in the first half. I was like, oh my lord,
killer, bro, for the PRA, and he still almost got it. Like missed it by a hook. It didn't score a fucking point in the first half.
Yeah, it was disgusting to watch him just throw up those 7 bricks. But we live and we learn. We keep watching Wemby, and hopefully he grows from losing a big game there. So shout out to Wemby, shout out to the Spurs. And let's go to this NBA slate here, Billy. And by the way, the Kong's clips earlier, I know you'll like a little bit of this, Billy. His Kong's nuke. Best bet of the week. Brian Battle money line, Alexander Pantoja money line, and Oregon minus 3.5 at plus 265 right there. So I know you appreciate that. Shout out to you, Kongs. Let's talk association. Let's talk Boston Celtics, Detroit Pistons. 13.5 point favorite are the Celtics here. Eliminated from the NBA Cup, I saw, which was a little shocking. 3-1, unfortunate point differential thing for the Celtics. Are they going to be a little, frustrated and annoyed by that? Probably not. I don't think they really care. 13.5 points, I think, is a little tough for me always to lay here, Billy, but you're at home. That makes you feel good. Pistons are, I don't think they're as trash as they once were, but 13.5 points might be fair against a good Celtics team, especially the way some of their players are playing. And Billy, now here's something funny about capping NBA with Billy Brisbane. Anytime a white guy goes off, I think of Billy. I think of Billy just like, we should have bet the white guy's props. And the white guy in this game, Peyton Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard has been hucking it and making it in the last few weeks. Had 26 in his last game, I believe. Just been shooting the ball real well. So anytime Peyton Pritchard goes off, I always think, Billy's probably on his points and assist prop. There goes Peyton again. So Billy, let us know what you're on here. I'll let you know real quick that 71% of the bets, 75% of the money on the Boston Celtics ATS there. That shouldn't surprise anyone, honestly. We had an opener at 14, and we're going up to 14.5 here, Billy. What do you think?
Yeah, it seems like some of the Pistons' form has came back down to earth, missing the NBA Cup after going undefeated throughout their first 3 games of play, and now they just have 2 wins in their last 8 games. I was saying this to Pete yesterday. It kind of felt like a Milwaukee spot, and this feels like a terrible spot for the Pistons. Somewhat of a deflated attitude at the end of that Milwaukee game could definitely carry over this one against the Celtics. The Celtics were on the edge of their seat last night, almost getting a chance inside the cup after the Knicks almost blew out the Magic by, I think it was like the Magic couldn't lose by 36 or more points, and they really almost lost by 36 or more points. So while the NBA Cup isn't high on the priority list for the Celtics, I mean, they've been rolling over these opponents this year during this title defense. Their average win margin of 10.3 points per game is the highest in the NBA. When it comes to the total, it could be another Pistons team total under, as fatigue could settle in on a second night of a back-to-back here. Situational spot scenario could definitely come out on the offensive side of the ball. Over the last 4 back-to-backs, the Pistons have gone under the total in 3 of the second games of the back-to-backs. And with this being on the second end of a back-to-back, I think Cade Cunningham could definitely miss this game as well. We haven't seen injury reports for this game because you're not required to put out an injury report until like 2:00 on a second night of a back-to-back, but he was held out of a back-to-back over the weekend versus the Sixers. And in that game that he didn't play, they got blown the fuck out by the Sixers by 15 plus points. I was on the Sixers money line. So if the Sixers are blowing you out by 15 points, I think Boston can do it. And that's kind of where the line is at, like 14.5, 13.5, wherever you're shopping. So it feels like the bookies are kind of like copy and pasting Saturday's game into this game. I would probably say the top bets in this game would be Pistons team total under 103.5, probably lean towards under 221. And if you just like the Celtics straight up, I would probably just take the team total over.
Makes sense. And I'm seeing a lot of people mentioning that they got boned on some props because players are sitting and stuff on late games here. Well, that is the beautiful thing about Peyton Pritchard. I don't think Peyton Pritchard's getting that sit.
Yeah, but I don't think Peyton Pritchard, I looked around the market. His player prop won't come up on the sportsbook probably until like an hour before the game.
Yeah, I just looked myself as well, and I just didn't see him, and I thought the same thing. I said, okay, well, they're not going to post it until super late here. So, okay, we'll see. I was interested in a little Peyton Pritchard tonight, but Celtics team total might just be in the cards for me here. I think they just roll this team, so I agree with you there. Let's roll on here, Billy, to game number 2. I was shocked to see this line. Brooklyn Nets, Indiana Pacers. You know, again, I'm a more casual NBA guy here, so I have a recency bias, I guess, of the last few years of the Nets being just god-awful and the Pacers being at least decent. But you look at their NBA Cup standings records, the Pacers were 0-4 or 0-3, I forget what it was. They didn't win a game. It was one of like the 3 or 4 teams that didn't win it with the Wizards and the Hornets. You don't want to be in that group. Now you're only 2.5 point favorites against the Brooklyn Nets team that is kind of meh. You know, they're, again, better than they were last year. They've got Cam Thomas shooting every shot he wants. But what is Halliburton doing? You know, we talked about it a few weeks ago, Billy. Tyrese Halliburton's living the life. He's snowing in Indiana right now for Tyrese Halliburton. He's just enjoying all the bunnies. So I don't know what to make of him and what he's going to do here in this next few seasons of his career. 65% of the bets, 68% of the money on the Indiana Pacers here. And this line opened at 2. We still have 2.5s. What do you think here, Billy?
Indiana will be right back in action after dropping a close one in Toronto last night. Historically, Brooklyn hasn't been an over team as they play at the league's slowest pace in the NBA. But with Schroeder kind of being the main ball handler for tonight, probably playing 30-plus minutes, some of his minutes got cut off in the last game due to blowout. This game could definitely go over as the Nets and Pacers both ranked 24th and 25th in defensive rating. And the Pacers rank 5th in the NBA in field goal shooting and 5th in the NBA in 3-point field goals made per game. I feel like the Nets' inability to get rebounds, as they rank last in the NBA in rebounding, will also create second chance opportunities here. It's hard trusting the Pacers to cover any spread, let alone win a game by more than the possession. So I think the over looks good here. I bet the over on the total of this game. I got 227 last night at like 3 a.m. It's at like 225 now. So it's gone down 2 points. But to be honest with you, I really don't give a fuck where this kind of closes at. This is kind of like one of those spots where like you just have to like eliminate the preconceived notion of the teams and just put in what they've been doing for the last week. And I have this projected as the highest total of the board today by a couple of points, even with the Atlanta-Milwaukee game being at 235. I have this as a 233 total. So I feel like there's a lot of wiggle room here. One player prop to look at here is TJ McConnell over 15.5 points and assists at minus 122. You want to be like Mike. Kids nowadays want to be like Ja. Ask no player than in the NBA that has worn Ja Morant's shoe more than TJ McConnell himself this season. He's worn the shoe more than actually Ja Morant himself, which is absolutely crazy. Maybe it's starting to kickstart his season as he scored double-digit points in 3 straight games, and he's had double-digit points in 6 out of his last 8 games played. And on the second night of a back-to-back, he should probably be in store for another 25 to 28-minute type of night. I don't think they're going to put Halliburton with 30-plus minutes or 35-plus minutes or something like that. McConnell's probably going to get some run tonight.
Of course. It's funny. I love Billy's new strategy. Look down the roster. You just look for the TJ McConnells. You bet him. You bet him. Of course. TJ McConnell for Billy Brisbane looking his direction. And it makes sense. It makes sense to me. 2-3. I kind of agree with you. I lean Brooklyn Nets here as well. I think that Brooklyn Nets definitely might be live in this game here, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to bet on the team that doesn't play defense, or do you bet on the team that's the worst rebounding team in the league? Like basketball philosophy 101 is you can't bet on teams that don't rebound and hit free throws. Like that's like college basketball, like 101. Like the first thing I look at in a college basketball cap is what is this team's free throw percentage and what is their rebounding rate? Because the most frustrating thing is betting on a basketball game and you're like, yes, they missed. Fuck, what the fuck? 3 rebounds. What the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah.
And that shit pisses you off so much. And then the worst is when you're betting a college basketball game and you're like, oh, we're going to the free throw line. 1-1. I'm so about to get this cover. Clank. And it's like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's like type shit after you bet basketball for like 4.5, 5 years, you start like that's first things I'm noticing. And the first thing I noticed in this game is the Nets are the worst rebounding team in the NBA. I don't think I want to put money on the worst. Like, there's a lot of teams in the NBA that I would think that would be the worst rebounding team in the NBA. Like and it kind of makes sense because being a daily fantasy player for so long, the Nets front court has always been like a matchup that you kind of wanted to attack in daily fantasy.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it now. I mean, Nick Claxton. Is that anyone else going to pull a rebound on the Brooklyn Nets?
How many minutes is Nick Claxton really supposed to be playing right now? Like, he just came back from injury a couple of games ago. Like, he's played 28 to like 33 minutes, but like, I mean, say what you want about Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam. I mean, they're pretty long. I would imagine greasy narrative theory that kind of made me not want to bet the Nets. Watching that Pacers game last night in Toronto, Pascal got thrown out of the game with like 2 minutes left. He didn't even do shit. Like, in reality, it was kind of like the most Vegas shit ever because he really didn't even do shit. And they're like, technical foul, double tech. He's gone. And it's just like, wait, what? Like, this is a fucking 3-point game with 2 minutes left. What the fuck are you doing? Pascal might come out like a little bit pissed off tonight. And sometimes, like, we always think about the Pacers as like Tyrese Halliburton and company, but in reality, it's Pascal Siakam and company. He's the only one on that team that's got a fucking ring.
Yeah, Yeah, you're right about that, and that is it's funny. Him getting tossed in Toronto as well is hilarious. By the way, I didn't again. I don't watch Brooklyn Nets basketball, so I was shocked to see Ben Simmons playing professional basketball.
I was shocked to have money on a Ben Simmons prop in the year 2024, and he cashed it pretty easily over the weekend. I bet his rebounds and assist prop.
I was about to say, I know there wasn't points in there.
It was just rebounds and assists. And the funniest was, Jose, it was at 13.5. It was just like, man, how low is low? He could like walk into 13.5 rebounds and assists. And he had like 10 and they were getting blown the fuck out. And I was like, man, is Ben Simmons really about to sell the bag on this? And he ended up coming back in the fourth quarter. And I was like, I got respect for Ben Simmons. 20-point plus game. He knows everybody in the world probably has bet his rebounds and assists. There's only 3 basketball games on right now. And he didn't sell the bag. Went out there and he did the damn job. So he's good in my books. You just got to figure out what days he gives a fuck about playing basketball or not.
Yeah, maybe today will be that day. And
I don't blame him, though. Like, real life-wise, can you imagine dating Kylie Jenner and she leaves you for Devin Booker? You're just like, God damn.
That's tough, and everyone knows about it. And yeah, and everyone knows that he can't shoot either. It's a tough life for Ben Simmons. Those
do you not remember Jenner, Kylie? We used to be at like all the Sixers games, like courtside shit. Next season, she said, "Now I'm going to the team full of winners."
Yeah, this guy fucking can't make a free throw, dog. I can't date this man.
That's like, there's like if you look back at like Kardashian post-athlete Kardashian relationships, it's just been downhill, dog. So Ben Simmons just fell into the trend.
Yeah, it happens. The Jenner Kardashian curse. Lakers Heat, fun matchup here with
Jenner. I don't give a fuck. Joseph Gomez.
Well, we're not going to specify our Jenners here, Joseph, but I appreciate you knowing.
As long as it's not Bruce, right?
Yeah, we know Bruce Jenner. We can tell which one Bruce Jenner is. I can't tell which one the other ones are. Miami Heat, Los Angeles Lakers here. LeBron going back to Miami. Big game. Everyone's going to be there in South Beach. When I was there, fucking people were talking about this game. Oh, I want to go see LeBron. Oh! So I expect LeBron to have a game here. Billy, what do you think about it? First of all, let's ask the obvious question. Is that motherfucker going to play?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to ask because this is the NBA and who the hell knows. But it's an interesting game here. 2.5-point favorites. I appreciate Jimmy Butler actually deciding I think he wants to care this year. Billy, I think he wants to play basketball maybe, so that's nice. 54% of the tickets, 61% of the money on the Miami Heat here, so pretty split. Spread tickets wise here, we've gone from a 1 to a 2 here as an opener to now a 2. That's interesting. And I don't mention money lines often here, but I'll just quickly say that 31% of the bets and 62% of the money is on the money line in this situation for the Heat, for the Lakers. So that's kind of obvious there, but the line still did go up, minus 130 there, money line for the Heat. I don't have a side in this game. There's nothing I lean towards. Again, I expect kind of LeBron to have a nice game, but I don't really want to bet LeBron player props, if I'm going to be honest. I think they're going to probably be a little juiced or a little bumped up.
It's actually really not, though.
Really?
One of the main decision points that I need to make within the next 30 to 40 minutes on the show is, am I betting LeBron or Jalen Johnson?
Well, that is hilarious to think about. Just imagine 2 years ago, Jalen Johnson gets kicked out of Duke, and you're going to be like, whose props am I going to take, him or LeBron James?
I mean, when we read off the stats for both of them, it's just like, God damn. I mean,
yeah.
I want to both, but I mean, I'm trying to really knock it down on a Wednesday of Wednesday during the winter. There's really no fucking games on. I probably shouldn't say this, but chat, save your fucking bankroll for the weekend. You shouldn't have more than 4 bets on a Wednesday.
That's fair. I only have 2 so far, so I'm following your lead right now. The NBA is a hard sport to bet. I've said that quite frequently here. And this line,
volume or high volume, I've seen people be successful betting 20 plus things. I was like, bro, how do you even go through the time of your day to bet 10 player props in a game.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. Kong's mentioning that LeBron is in a deep, deep slump from shooting or from outside right now. So that's a good note. Jermaine mentioning Braun rebounds. Yeah, it feels like if I'm betting this LeBron prop, it's rebounds or assists here, or maybe both. Billy, what do you think?
The Heat desperately needed that day of rest in between games. They were on a second end of a back-to-back without Jimmy Butler, and they got fucking smacked by the Celtics 108-89. And it was pretty much the same as the Lakers got destroyed by the Timberwolves in their last game, 108-80. That was crazy. I had a bet on the Timberwolves and the under, but I didn't think it was going to cash like that. The shooting woes are just continued for the Lakers as LeBron had a season low, 10 points. He's missed 19 straight three-point attempts now, and the Lakers shot 19.4% from the three-point line. It's literally Dalton Connect and nobody else, man, like that can hit a fucking three-point shot on this team. It's actually pretty sad. JJ's been trying to emphasize their defense because he obviously knows that their defensive efficiency numbers are going to have to go up if they're going to keep on shooting like this. And their defensive efficiency numbers continue to drop from game to game. And for all the Heat's faults, they've still been really good on defense this year, allowing the 8th fewest points per game. The Lakers, in their last 5 games, they've averaged less than 100 points per game. And that plays kind of straight into Miami's strategy of like keeping games lower scoring and kind of leaning towards their defensive identity. If they can get Butler active for this game alongside the way Tyler Hero has been playing, I think it could be just too much offensive firepower for the Miami Heat. I expect a lot of the public to be attracted toward the script of LeBron going back down the South Beach. And god damn, man, it's like the stats are telling me yes, but my mind's telling me fuck no. LeBron's been ice cold, and that kind of creates a good spot for sports bettors as he's gone over his point prop in 3 out of 3 games last year after scoring 15 points or less in a game versus Miami. And he's gone over 26 plus points in 8 out of his last 9 games since leaving Miami. In his last 5 road games in Miami since joining the LA Lakers, he scored 27, 28, 30, 33, and 51 points. The Heat allow the 9th most points to power forwards this season. So everything on paper says it's a good spot, but I can't get past 19 straight 3-point missed attempts is pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, especially for LeBron.
Yeah, like I actually don't know. Like, in my gut, I really think Father Time could just be really catching. Like, it's inevitable for everybody, bro. Like, and you know what I'm saying? And like clanking on jump shots is kind of like the first sign of like, you know, your legs are not the same anymore. You're playing a lot more games. Shit, they got you really playing like highest usage, top 5 in the league. Like you're still 20 years old in the league. Like it's not like they're like letting LeBron right off into the sunset. Like remember when Kobe was on the team? Even for those shitty Lakers teams, at least he had like scorers around him. Like they weren't the name brand scorers of Nick Young and D'Angelo Russell and Julius Randle and Ingram and stuff like that. But like they ended up being like decent players and stuff like that. It doesn't feel the same with LeBron. Like it's like Anthony Davis and like you're bringing out 25-year-old Dalton Connect and he's your best shooter on your team by a wide margin. Nothing against Dalton Connect. We made a lot of money on.
Yeah, he's white. You bet him.
I mean, he made a lot of money throughout his collegiate career. It's just, man, he can't be your best, like, by far best shooter on your team. Like, that's a huge red flag. But one player prop to look at on the Miami side, if Bam Adebayo is going to be guarding Anthony Davis the whole entire time, I feel like you got to look at his 10-plus rebounds on his double-double prop. As the Lakers allow the most rebounds to centers this season, Bam has gone over his rebound prop in 7 out of his last 10 games. So, the more and more I look into this game, it kind of looks like a bullshit same game parlay.
Interesting. By the way, yeah, Jermaine, D'Angelo Russell, Julius Randle, Ingram, Larry Nance, I believe, was on that team as well. I mean, all those guys are still in the league. And by the way, D'Angelo Russell, Brandon Ingram, Randle, all are just like those ISO scoring guys in my head.
Like perfect players to put around Kobe. Like I'm too old to get a bucket swing. Like
yeah, they're all like the same exact player to me. And obviously Kobe was that guy as well. So it's just hilarious that like they played 1 year with Kobe, 2 years with Kobe, whatever it was. and he just like passed on this like ISO gene to them. Now, would I want to play with Julius Randle, D'Angelo Russell, and watch them dribble the ball? No, I would not. But
yeah, team chemistry was in the negative, man. When you got D'Angelo Russell taking Snapchat videos of Swaggy P saying, "Yeah, youngest girl they got was 18." Yeah, ruined Iggy Azalea. That relationship. I mean, that's got to be the biggest fumble in like media culture history of like Swaggy P dating Iggy Azalea, pop superstar. Get the fuck out of here. What the fuck did Swaggy P do in the NBA at that point?
And fucking it's hilarious to me that he's like survived that, I guess, like his reputation, like everyone shit on him forever, and now he's still in the NBA, like still kind of cooking.
You can't tell me though, like Iggy Azalea is not like top 5 like hottest like pop stars, biggest ass.
Back then, especially.
Yeah.
So,
Especially
Nick Young, you fucked it up, Nick. You fucked it up. Well, actually, I would say D'Angelo Russell fucked it up for you, but oh well. Magic 76ers here. Hand up. If you told me preseason that the 76ers would be 3.5-point dogs at home against the Magic, I would be a little surprised here, and I would automatically assume I want to bet the 76ers. But, Billy, you're the 76ers expert here. I've heard that Max is back. Paul George is finally starting to play. You know, obviously Joel Embiid's still fucking figuring himself out, but what an interesting game here. The Magic have been ATS darlings as well. Let me go to the market here real quick before I pass it off to you, because this is the game I want to hear about the most here. We have 59% of the bets and 65% of the money on the Orlando Magic here. And funny enough, wow, this line has shot up. It's a 5 now, actually. Here was a 2.5 opener, now up to a 5. Someone must be out or something here.
I don't think Paul George is playing. Why would he play?
Okay. Yeah, super true story saying Paul George is out for this one. Okay, that would make sense. We're seeing 5.5s here as well. Billy, take it away. What do you think?
In my gut, man, I really want to bet the Magic. It's been a long season for the Sixers fans with a disaster start of the season, but they've looked a lot better of recent. I mean, they're coming in this game winning 2 straight consecutive games, which is kind of an accomplishment considering they've been 1-4 in their last 5 home games. Philadelphia scored 111 or fewer points in 4 out of their last 5 games with an average of 105.1 points per game this season, which ranks 28th in the NBA. Prior to last night's game, the Magic were kind of rolling, man. They won 6 straight, going 8-2 in their last 10 games. After last night's embarrassment, I feel like they got to bounce back defensively. They've given up 104.5 points per game, which is the fewest in the NBA. Each of the last 5 wins for the Magic have been by 8 or more points. So when they're winning, they're covering. And the Sixers continue to have problems with their injury news report. I don't think PG-13 is going to shoot up for this one in a second. I have a back-to-back. Could be another night to look at a Jared McCain prop. He scored 15 or more points in 4 out of his last 5 games played, leading the Rookie of the Year odds. But I got to lean towards the Orlando Magic side. I'm kind of glad this number is going up because it's one of those games that, like, you got to, like, let it settle in a little bit. Like, it's kind of like one of the first games I wanted to bet. And now I was like, let me sleep on this, feel it out a little bit. One player prop to look at is Gershon Yabusele.
Yabusele, come on.
Gershon Yabusele over 6.5 rebounds and his points and rebounds prop. The Sixers are going to be without Drummond and Embiid again for this game. He should be the main beneficiary. He's had a 14.94% rebound chance, which is a team high on the team when you take those 2 off the floor, averaging 9.11 rebounds per 36. 2 games without Drummond and Embiid versus Cleveland, he had 9 rebounds on 17 rebound chances. And then last night, he had 12 rebounds versus Charlotte. So definitely take a look at Gershon Yabusele's props when I can't say the name. You know, Gershon's props when they come out in the market. And then another player prop that kind of falls into the, like, if I bet LeBron, I feel like I got to bet Jalen Suggs too. So it's kind of like I might not bet either. There might not be a shooter in the league that's had worse luck than Jalen Suggs from the 3-point line in this previous week. Probably LeBron's the only other candidate that I can, like, really name. At Brooklyn, he shot 2 for 6 from the 3-point line. The next game against Brooklyn, 1 for 3. And then last night's blowout loss versus the Knicks, God damn, man. It felt like I wanted to jump through the screen and just shoot the ball for him, man. He couldn't find the back of the bucket to save his life, man. He was New York City was maybe just too bright of lights for Jalen Suggs. He shot terrible in both games in Brooklyn and the New York game last night. Maybe going across the river to Pennsylvania should help him. It's not like you're asking for a lot. I mean, goddamn, bro. You shot 0 for 8 last night. You can't hit 2 3-pointers. It's not like you're paying a lot of juice for it. It's at -110 for his 1.5 3-pointers.
Wow. Yeah, that's a funny one to bet right there. That's one that I can imagine myself in Vegas. You bet that, and you're in the sports book. Every time he touches the ball, you stand up, you put the threes in the air, and you're just like, come on. Oh, man, that's hilarious. So it's going to be a fun game. I think this will be a very fun game. I might end up watching this game. Both of your young backcourts are very interesting as well here. So no Paul George, 2-3 thing France goes off.
Allowed to play. I let me look at Maxi's minutes because I don't think he's allowed to play a certain amount of minutes.
And the chat basically all saying Franz props today as well. No Paul George. Franz looking.
If I'm going Franz, I'm gonna go Big Mo over Little Mo here, man. Big Mo had a great game last night. So this game is all about like the injury news report. We got to see if Goga Batadze is going to play because he sprained his right ankle. He did not play last night. Wendell Carter Jr. usually doesn't play the second night of back-to-backs. Who knows? They might have to put his bitch ass out there because he only played 19 minutes last night and they got blown the fuck out. So he actually really might have to play this game. If you look at Big Mo, man, I got to go with Big Bro over Little Bro. Big Bro last night coming off the 20-12 game. That was the clip of the night last night. Was Karl Anthony Towns doing the back down on Big Mo?
I saw that.
He said, boom, boom. Pussy, you're not going to move? All right, shimmy, right in your bit. Like, Big Mo's got shit to prove out here, dog. If there was one person that gave a fuck about that game last night, regardless of the score, it was Big Mo, bro. He played 28 minutes, had 20 points, 12 rebounds, had a double-double, led the team in points. Like, Big Mo's out here doing big things, man. And you take out no Drummond, no fucking Embiid. I mean, Big Mo's going up against who? KJ Martin? Like, Big Mo might have a game tonight. I just don't know if they'll ever put his prop up.
That's hilarious. And shout out to it's amazing to me, Billy, the names that you can pronounce and you can't. Goga Batadze was easy, but Gerson Yabusele and all of your obvious UFC names. I mean, good Lord, those UFC names are fucking grinders as well.
The Gershon one is hard because he used to be so bad when he played for the Celtics.
Yeah, he was fat, and now he's in shape and looks great. So
it's crazy what that European diet and a couple of European girls can do to you. Revive their career. I'm coming.
Shout out to you, France. Shout out to you,
look
France.
At Pat Bev, man. Pat Bev's out there lighting it up overseas.
Yeah. You're next. Billy Brisbane takes on Tel Aviv coming up soon here.
Not Tel Aviv. It would have to be like Italy.
We've got Hawks Bucks next up on our slate here. I think it was Jermaine saying earlier that he loves betting under threes. He said LeBron, Trae Young, and someone else were great under 3 bets as well. And I respect that because Trae Young, it was an interesting case for me. But he's not even the best player in his own team anymore. Jalen Johnson, I mean, he kind of does everything great, which I love.
He's the best player on the team. Is just that, like, how is the most impactful player on the floor going to be 6 foot tall? The most impactful player on the court probably needs to be about 6'8" to 6'10" in this year's NBA. Nothing against Trae Young, but I mean, you can only do but so much at that.
No, I agree. And defensively, he'll always get destroyed. Where Jalen Johnson is actually very good, maybe defensive player of the year, who knows? But the Bucks, the same boat the 76ers were in there. They were in a shitty start. They salvage it. Now they've kind of stabilized here. Everyone all over the Bucks in this game, shockingly enough. I think this is the most bet side, I believe, of the slate here. Let me scroll. Yeah, they're the most bet side and ticket wise That's interesting. 75% of the bets and 77% of the money. Celtics were 71 and 75. So it's close, but the Bucks getting a lot of love here. And you'd think with all that love and, adoration for the Bucks, that line would move to 5.5, 5, but no. It opened up at 4, opens up at 4.5, and it goes down to 4 here. So yeah, for me, it's Hawks or nothing. I can't get behind the Bucks here. I'm going to be very interested. I have to ask these questions. Are we getting both point guards here, Billy? Dame and Trae Young both going to play this game?
I would imagine. Why wouldn't that?
Again, it's the NBA, Billy. That's why my response is the NBA. Who knows? I'm going to be very interested to see that matchup. Two small guards that score a shitload against each other. I'm going to be fascinated to see if Jalen goes on Dame or whatever they do. But it's Hawks or nothing for me in this, surprisingly enough, Billy.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I feel like there's like two different versions of like betting there's like betting in the comforts of your own home, feet kicked back, chilling on the couch watching the game. And then there's like betting in the casino where like you're going to have to take more inherent risk than what you would averagely take on a given day just because of the time scenario. And this kind of falls into like a casino play for me. Like if I was down in Atlantic City, I probably would have money on the Hawks, but at the crib chilling tonight, might just pass on this one and just take the Jalen Johnson PRA prop. This is going to be the first meeting of the year between these two teams. Milwaukee was able to go 2-1 straight up and ATS in the last 3 games. In the 3 games last year. It's going to be a clash of momentums as Milwaukee's been one of the hottest teams in the NBA, scoring at least 122 points in 4 of their last 5 games. And that win in versus Detroit last night extended their little win streak that they had. The Hawks have finally gotten healthy, and they've been getting hot, man, winning 4 straight games. It was a lot of questions to start the season with Atlanta when they didn't get DeJounte Murray throughout the offseason and they traded him. But that's kind of created good betting value on the Hawks. They won 3 of their last 4 games outright, lined as an underdog. They're the team with the fresher legs, not on the second end of a back-to-back. This feels like a prime letdown Milwaukee spot. Atlanta's second fastest paced team in the NBA. They're going to continue to push the tempo despite Milwaukee winning by blowout last night. I feel like this kind of feels like a spot that they're going to let their guard down here. You finally got inside the cup. It's kind of like a little accomplishment for a weird season that they've had so far. And last year was even weirder with Doc Rivers coming in there late in the year after they had like the best record in the East for like the first half of the season. So Milwaukee and New York were the two biggest winners of the NBA Cup last night. Them just making it to the Emirates Cup tournament is an accomplishment for them. But I got to look at fuck the side. Got to go with the player prop, though. Jalen Johnson over 32.5 PRA. Jalen Johnson's usage in the offense has just been steady. He's taken at least 14 shots in 9 out of his last 10 games played. He's gone over 18.5 points in 6 straight games and 14 out of his last 21 games played overall this season. The Bucks have allowed the 5th most rebounds to small forwards. Jalen Johnson's gone over his rebound prop in 15 out of 21 games played this season and 2+ 3-pointers in 6 straight games. So, goddamn, Jalen Johnson's been lighting up the board. Kind of want to bet Jalen Johnson PRA because I feel like that's directly correlated to, like, the Atlanta Hawks. Kind of reminds me of the Wemby spot from last night of, like, if Wemby doesn't go over his PRA, bro, who you got on the Spurs that you think is going to go over the PRA and they're going to win this game? Because I feel like the NBA is like really like that right now. Of like Jalen Johnson doesn't go over his PRA, bro. The Atlanta Hawks are probably getting blown out in this game.
No, I agree. But I think this will be my first official NBA bet here. Atlanta Hawks +4 here for me. I think they can win this game outright. So let's just keep it close.
They should win this game. It's not if they can win the game outright. On paper, bro, they should really win this game, bro. Milwaukee just beat Detroit, their little brother. They just beat down on them the whole entire game. They finally made it to the Emirates Cup. People aren't talking shit on them on ESPN every day. And now you got Atlanta, who's arguably the second or third hottest team in the league. They've been winning game after game after game. Everybody's healthy. Do we not remember Bogdan Bogdanovic giving the biggest scare to Team USA ever in Olympic history? He's healthy. He's been playing this last week. Him coming off the bench for Atlanta is huge. DeAndre Hunter coming off the bench for Atlanta is huge. Cheke Okongwu might have been the second best player on that Chino Hills fucking high school basketball team. LaMelo's a superstar. Cheke's played the most amount of games, and Lonzo's somewhere out living in Chicago, probably in an apartment somewhere. So, like, I don't know, man. Like, Atlanta's like one of those teams, like, you think that they suck, but then you actually really start watching their games and stuff like that on NBA League Pass, and you're like, yo, this team is really not that bad. Like, they're really like one or two people stepping up. Not even, they're already there. One or two people stepping up and being healthy for a season, and they might fuck around and go on a streak. And I'm pretty high on the first overall pick this year, Zachary Richesher. He's looked a lot better than what I thought he was going to look in the NBA. Like, he's been one of the biggest surprises in the rookie class. Granted, the number one overall pick back in the day used to be like bona fide superstar, but in today's day in NBA,
yeah, we knew this draft class was weak as fuck.
Yeah, but as long as you're not Anthony fucking Bennett as a first overall, you know, you're going good places, young man.
Yeah, you're gonna get your second contract for sure. Let's say that, to say the least. Hawks for me. Billy looking at Jalen Johnson. Last game on our slate here. Minnesota Timberwolves, Los Angeles Clippers. A great game here. Wolves -2.5. Market in this game. Let's touch on it immediately. 55% of the bets, 60% of the money on the Clippers here. The only underdog on the slate that has more bets and money than the favorite here. This went from a 3.5 to a 3. So fascinating stuff. Our friends at BetMGM right now, they have a 3.5 here. So this line has obviously moved up a little bit since I first made these graphics. It's a low-scoring game. I don't know what to expect from the Clippers on a night-to-night basis. I think they're the most confusing team to try to cap night-to-night. I have a bunch of my friends. They just bet Zubac over points every game, which is hilarious to see. It's not like he's hitting them all the time either, but they just bet him game in, game out. I respect it. But this is a tough game for him. This is a tough game for me, and it's a stay-off game for me, Billy. What did you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad this game is kind of like sandwiched out from the rest of them, so I can kind of like see how my night's going, because these are just one of those spots where, like, I'm just gonna go with my gut, man. My gut tells me that Minnesota is gonna win this game. It's one of those ones where, like, I think I was talking to Big Show and 2 Cents yesterday. They asked me, like, what was your favorite NBA play yesterday? And I was like, the Knicks money line. They were like, you know, it's 185. And I was like, man, I don't know.
You asked me for my favorite play.
I just feel like in basketball in general, once you start doing they're going to cover by this amount of points and this, that, and the third, you're going to be looking at yourself at the end of the week of like, man, how did I lose that fucking bet? Bro, just pay up the extra 20 to 30 cents. If you didn't want to pay up the extra 20 to 30 cents, this is just my opinion, probably very different from everybody else on the channel. If you want to pay up the extra 20 to 30 cents, you probably shouldn't be betting the fucking game in general. Like, goddamn, a 185 through -110, that might save your fucking ass at the end of the game when the bullshit referee stuff happens in a close basketball game. You never know. Like, sometimes you just want to pay up from the money line. It seems like I'd rather pay up from the money line than the spread, because something just feels fishy about this game. That's the only reason why I haven't moved on it. For the inconsistencies that the Timberwolves have had, their defense has still been really good this season, allowing 108.8 points per game. The Clippers have been kind of like devalued at the betting window without Kawhi being in the lineup, and they've kind of shown some potential this season, but they've struggled to find their offensive consistency from night to night, which kind of makes sense on paper with James Harden being your star player. On paper, though, the Timberwolves have the talent and the physicality in a matchup with the Clippers on paper. It kind of feels like a similar spot to the Lakers the other night for the Timberwolves, where they were kind of in the rest advantage spot, and they were able to take advantage of it. The Clippers on the second end of a back-to-back, despite kind of blowing out the Blazers late in that game and being at home. I feel like it's a lot to ask for from night to night to kind of just show up without Kawhi. It feels like the Timberwolves have been kind of waiting all season to kind of get rolling, and they're finishing up their road trip with back-to-back games in Golden State this weekend, Friday and Sunday. So I would imagine the conversation in the locker room has to be, we have to win this game before we go into these 2 games with Golden State and probably split. So I like the Timberwolves here on the money line.
Timberwolves on the money line for Billy Brisbane there. Let's do a little recap here. We have an interesting slate. Again, I'll go first here because mine are super easy. I've got one bet on the card now, and that will be the Atlanta Hawks. +4 there, -110. I like the market there. Billy, regale us. What do you want today?
Yeah, small slate for me today. We got a lot of college basketball games on today, and that's kind of like where the meat and potatoes are to be made today. But 2 NBA bets that I liked the most were Indiana, Brooklyn. Put money on that one last night. And as soon as the conclusion of the show is done, I'm going to bet Jalen Johnson over 32.5 PRA. That's probably going to be one of my premium plays today. Just missed the cut was Yabusele, 6.5 rebounds. LeBron James over 20.5 points. TJ McConnell points and assists. And Bam Adebayo double-double. I get like when I mean just missed, that doesn't mean like I'm not gonna have money on that player or something like that. Like I play a shitload of daily fantasy. Like that's because I like don't bet on a player doesn't mean like you could make more money playing a daily fantasy lineup than like betting some of these games with the way daily fantasy set up right now. Of like they have contests for a bunch of fucking dollars. Like use one of our fucking sponsors over at FanDuel, throw in your little $10 parlay ticket. Instead of putting a $10 parlay ticket in, put a $10 daily fantasy lineup in. You probably will have a better ROI throughout the year.
And by the way, shout out to Big Show. He made that daily fantasy group, I believe, on DraftKings. We posted the link yesterday in the show for the Bankroll Blitz. So shout out to Big Show there, and shout out to the Locker Room Talk podcast. Billy, you guys just recorded an episode last night. Big fights this weekend. We talked about Collins Clips liking Pantoja and Brian Battle, 2 names I have heard of. So this obviously means a big UFC weekend, Billy, correct?
Yeah, big UFC weekend. Make sure you check out Locker Room Podcast. Gave away a couple of the plays that I have written up for this weekend. So good little episode, good little dissension. We go back and forth. So it's a good little episode. I mean, you give out a premium and then the other person sitting right next to you on FanDuel is on the completely opposite side. You get like completely 2 different ends of the spectrum of like where a fight can go.
Well, that's beautiful. Billy, again, thank you very much for joining me here on Wednesdays. And thank you for joining Pete here yesterday as well. Anything else you want to plug before we get you out of here?
Yeah, make sure you follow me over on Twitter at Getting Bills, or as X as the kids call it nowadays, and over at Instagram, Billy Brizz DFS. Probably will post some college basketball stuff over there because you got to really dive into college basketball, man, because I think there's a huge edge on team totals in college basketball right now. Like, you'll be fucking shocked of, like, why are we betting these spreads and these team totals are going, like, either over or under by, like, 10 to 15 points. It's crazy.
Well, you sound more and more like Nut Flush Allen every day talking team totals. So shout out to Nut Flush Allen, wherever he is. And shout out to you, Billy Brisbane. Thanks so much for joining us here. A beautiful, beautiful breakdown by one getting Bills _. All right. So let's talk here, ladies and gentlemen. We have a loaded college slate coming up here. We're going to talk every single conference championship game here, and we're going to do it 3-headed monster style. So that'll be a whole lot of fun. Then we're going to roll into college basketball here. I'll do that 3-headed as well. I know our guy Conor Mac Picks has some college basketball, and if Wine Time has any, he'll throw them in here as well. But let's bring on our first college football guest here. It's going to be a lot of fun getting these breakdowns in. If you missed it yesterday, Dabby Cab and Peter Loshak talked about each college football game, all the conference championship games. They're all cut out. Go watch them now. We're going to do the same with these here as well. Let's bring in our guy, Mr. 60%, Mr. Wine Time Sports, joining the program. Wine, it's nice to see you. That cake looked horrific, but congratulations on 60%, my man. It's a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah, man, it tasted even worse, Jose. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty garbage cake. Not going to lie. Shout out to the person who made that cake. But yeah, with that being said, man, yeah, blessed. Hit 60%. That was a blessing to do. That was my goal to do this year. We did it. Still got a lot of games to talk about, though, Jose. We got conference championships, and we got playoffs coming up. We got a lot of college football these next couple months, man. I'm excited for it.
I'm also excited about these conference championship games, and then the bowl games here. It's going to be very interesting to see how all of these games unfold here. We're going to start breaking down these games, and we're going to bring in our guy, Conor Mac Picks, when he's ready to go here. So let's get cracking here, Wine, and let's start off. People will talk shit about the little conferences, but we care about little conferences too. It is Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State, Conference USA here. I believe we're at Jacksonville State here as well. I need to double check that as well. But home field advantage is a thing in this game. I will be do a better job here about talking about home field advantages and such. But we've got this game in Jacksonville, Amfer Stadium, by the way. And Wine Time, even better, if you want to enter this game, Wine Time, only $18 to get into the conference championship game here at Conference USA. Market in this game will open up with that. And I find this to be very interesting because I made the graphics yesterday, and we've already had some line movement in these games. So those markets will move quickly. Get on these bets early and listen to our experts roll here. So we have this game. It is currently 54% of the bets, 59% of the money on Jacksonville State. Pretty split here, but we had a 4.5 yesterday. Now we're down to 3.5 today. So fascinating stuff. Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State. I lean Western Kentucky, but no action so far. Wine Time. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, I'm not sure if the quarterback's playing for Jacksonville State or not yet. I don't see any of his props listed. Western Kentucky, they've been playing some good football towards the end. I mean, they've won 3 of their last 5 games. Jacksonville State won 4 of their last 5. This isn't a game I have any action on. We've talked about this Western Kentucky team in the past. Their quarterback, Velkamp, he's having a pretty good season, 22 touchdowns, only 10 picks, 2,600 yards. Nothing too crazy there. This isn't anything I have any action in, or do I have a breakdown in, honestly, Jose? So we can get back to this one if CMAC has any action on this one. But I have a lean towards probably Western Kentucky because I'm not sure if that Jacksonville State quarterback's playing in this one or not. Yeah, too much action in this weekend to take anything in this one, though.
Okay. I agree with you. We need more information on Jacksonville State here. If their starter is playing, the line going down makes it feel like he might not be. But I am interested to see where this game goes here. By the way, I will just quickly mention that I believe I need to double check here. I would assume these teams have played each other already once this year, or at least, well, we know they have common opponents here at the very least here. So they did indeed. Wow. This is the weird part about these games and these conference matchups now. These teams played last week here. They played last week on November 30th, and Jacksonville State lost 19-17 here in a very interesting matchup there. Now, the real question is, what were they showing? Where was the whole playbook open for these guys? They were Jacksonville State 7-1 in conference, and that one loss being that Western Kentucky game. So they rolled into that game undefeated in conference, probably knowing that they didn't have to win that game to make it. Western Kentucky 6-2, and so is Sam Houston 6-2 in conference. So they obviously needed that dub to get in. So I don't know. That's fascinating. That's fascinating to think about here. Let's bring on our other guest here to complete the three-headed monster here. Probably the best intro in the motherfucking game. It's Conor Miggity Mac Daddy. Conor Mac Picks joining the program.
See,
Conor, hello. How goes it, my guy? It's nice to see you. I love talking college sports with you, and I'm glad that we can talk some conference championship games. Conor, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Hanging in there. A little sick, but we're good. We're good to go. We got conference games. We're ready to rock.
Yeah,
rock it. Wine time, my dude.
See, Mac,
what up? How you doing?
This is prime
Jose?
C-Mac season here, Conor. I know it. You know, the weather's getting a little cold there in Vegas, perhaps. You know, we've got conference championship games. We've got random tournaments and ballrooms. This is Conor Mac season right now here, Conor. What do you think about this Conference USA game?
You talked about it. I mean, it basically opened up because Liberty lost to Sam Houston. Then for Western Kentucky, while they just played last week. There should be more points. You know, both these teams, even the year before, played, and it was lower scoring. So are we going to get more? And just last week was 19-17. You had to think Rich Rod had to hold, you know, some stuff back maybe in that game, knowing they were going to play. That's what I was
expecting as well, Conor. I was like, the Jacksonville State was undefeated rolling into the game. They kind of knew that they were going to play in this game regardless of the result. Like, what did they really show you last week?
Well, with Huff, I don't know if it changes a bunch. In the end, he's a little bit of the better guy, but they're going to want to run it here. And we'll see if Western Kentucky can stop it. Last week was kind of bend but don't break, and they did it. And even last year in that game, the 20-17 game, they just kind of – and this Western Kentucky defense is not the best, and the numbers kind of show it. Here, I want to put against the run, 123rd, 208th. And we know Jacksonville State averaged almost 260. That's where they want to dominate in this game. But on the other side, Veldkamp, he can have a bunch of success throwing. And he did last week. He had 300 yards. That guy's got a pretty good arm. One thing with Western Kentucky until last week, when I knew there was some motivation for this game, I'd faded them 3 straight weeks. 3 out of the 4. They hadn't covered after starting red hot. You know, New Mexico State, they won, but just covered. They lost to La Tech outright, huge 12-point dogs. And then to Liberty just come back and then lose to Sam Houston, which rough year for Liberty. So all the people, it's like you saw each other. You go right here to Jacksonville State if Huff's healthy. But I think these teams know each other so well. I mean, 2 games where it was a 2-point game and a 3-point game. Do I really want to lay more than a field goal here? Like, I don't. Not at all. And with the question marks at QB, and even with both these teams defensively. So, I mean, if I had to, I was leaning to Western Kentucky. But I probably just, don't get on this one at all. This is a wait.
Yeah, I lean Western Kentucky here as well. There's more bets on Jacksonville State. Slight. It's slight. Like I said, I'll say it again. 54% of the bets, 59% of the money. Line has gone down a touch towards Western Kentucky. Let's roll on here, but I do agree. I lean Western Kentucky here. Now, Conor Mac. I know this game means a whole lot to you. The Runnin' Rebs, UNLV, the, powerhouse Mountain West Conference here. Boise State on the verge of being the first Power 5 conference team or I should say non-Power 5, group of 5 team to make the playoffs and be highly ranked. We all know about Genty, but this was a very interesting game the last time these guys faced each other. Now, I read, or I think Cab said yesterday, when they last faced, UNLV only held Genty to 130 yards rushing, which, again, is hilarious. It's hilarious when we say only 128, because that's full game for everyone else, but Genty, that's light work, I guess. 4-point favorites here. And again, that last game was a 29-24 loss for UNLV at home there. Connor, I'll let you go first in this game. I'll talk about the market right now, but this UNLV team in your backyard right now, a shitload of people betting against them. 70% of the bets, 76% of the money on Boise State here. And yet, this went from a 5.5 down to a 4. Is Boise State's miracle season going to fall apart here, Connor? Tell me about the Rebels.
We will see. This Boise State team has been cruising the last 3 or 4 weeks. It's just been kind of to get to this game, maybe, but man, they have not been impressive the last 3 or 4 weeks at all. And UNLV keeps winning. Bottom line, overall this game, plus us, UNLV's just never beat Boise State. I mean, Boise State just beats the shit out of them. And of course, UNLV was pathetic, one of the worst teams in all of football for 20 years there, and they continue to get their ass. But I think in each one of these games, it's gotten a little bit closer, and we saw it at home for UNLV in the first game, where that line was 3.5, 4, and then now they're just 4-point favorites here at home. That's telling, why isn't this not 6 or 7? I think it's a little bit of both. These two teams play and what we saw in the first game. One thing there's got to be said with UNLV, they're going to want to run it, and they will have success. But Williams needs to be better here, and they got to get it to White. They didn't get it to him enough. Problem with Boise State is their secondary, their slot, it hasn't been very good. Their safeties, that's been where you're able to beat them. So they got to try to give him the ball. But I got to give it up to Boise to kind of double him that first game and hold him down. I think he just had, 5 for 57? Nothing crazy in that game when he's had huge, huge ones. And on the other side, Boise State, you talked about Genty. That's basically the lowest. He had 127 against Portland State. I didn't think he played after the first quarter. So he had 127 yards in that very first game. Yeah, they just put him on the bench. So that was the lowest, 33 carries. He had a couple big runs and touchdown there at the end of that game. But that's UNLV's strength here on their defense is against the run. They've been money. It's almost top 10 here. They have a little problem with their secondary. So can they hold it down? And this UNLV team, why they keep winning, they were able to get turnovers. They need it here at good old the Smurf turf. They're going to maybe need a turnover too, where they've been money 2 years in a row at getting turnovers, and turnover margin's just been really, really good for them. So I think they can hang. It's tough for me to back them. I got to see it here. I can't have my money on it, even though I think they could keep this game close. This total's dropped down a little bit lower. I don't know if it gets over, but I think there's points here, maybe a little bit, but still, like the first total in this game, first matchup was 63 and a half. Like we got a 5-point. I mean, of course, championship game, everything's tighter here. You know, place will be going nuts, and I get it. But I still think there's going to be some sort of points here on the board, back and forth, just how bad these defenses are. So tough one. Everyone that's with Boise is just going to see it and think this is too easy, and maybe it is. I think UNLV could be in there. I just think the number's too short.
I agree with you right now, Connor. I'm leaning UNLV +4 heavily right now. Wine Time Sports.
UNLV's been good on the road too this year. I mean, a little bit different. Some of these teams have been awful, at Hawaii, but Oregon State, Utah State. So bigger step up. We'll see.
Yeah, and again, you're right to mention that this is going to be on the Smurf turf here in Boise. Wine
Albertsons.
Time, what do you think here?
Yeah, man. Shout out to Boise, man. They've been on a crazy run this season. Genty, getting 30 to 40 touches a game. It's absolutely wild. We don't really see this a lot. I thought they were going to start slowing him down. Man, they just keep giving him 30 touches plus a game. That's what he needs to get his numbers, though, guys. And I think UNLV needs to focus in on him this game. I think that's exactly what they're going to do.
Popular man, Wine Time Sports. People hear what he's hit 60% this regular season. Let's call the man. We need to know his picks ASAP.
But with that being said, though, Barry Odom, on the other hand, man, what a job he's done at UNLV. Conor Mac mentioned it. He's turned this program completely around. He brought in 2 transfer quarterbacks that were competing for the job the whole entire time. One of them left in Sluka, and the other guy stayed there. The guy that I probably thought should have been the starting quarterback in the beginning of the season. He's been looking good this season, man. And Conor Mac mentioned it. Ricky White, he's got over 1,000 receiving yards. They like to get the football in his hand. That's what they have to do in this one. They like to run the ball as well, though, and I think they need to continue to do that. Hodge Williams playing really well. We talked about it. He needs to limit turnovers in this game. He needs to not turn the ball over. Guys, we talked about this game weeks back when they played each other. I said, Boise's going to get this done, and when they face each other in the Mountain West Championship, UNLV is going to beat them. Going back, this dates back to last year when they played in the Mountain West Championship, where Boise absolutely smacked them. Barry Odom's got revenge on his mind in this one, and I think they're the better squad in this one. I think the more rounded squad, and if they get this win, are they going to potentially get into the playoffs? I'm not too sure. There's a lot of circumstances where they're saying they might get in there, and if so, man, that's crazy to see UNLV in the college football playoffs. Barry Odom, though, I've heard North Carolina and West Virginia getting a lot of hype over there to try to get him to go over there to be the head coach next year. This is most likely his last game. His last conference game at UNLV, because he's going to leave. He's going to go get a bag somewhere, because look what he's done for a Mountain West team. Give me UNLV plus the 4 here all day. And Jose, give me the money line. They're going to win this game outright. They're going to be the Mountain West champions in this one.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I'm going to move on UNLV as well. And I was thinking about this. I would love some Barry Odom at Oklahoma State. But it seems like Mike Gundy is not going to lose his job. So that sucks. That sucks, but UNLV for me, Connor, leaning that way as well. Wine time on them, spread and money.
Let me give you an official number really quick, Jose. I gave it out at the +4 -110 last night on Twitter. I want to give you the money line right now. Haven't moved on the money line. You can get a +160 anywhere. Lock me in on that too. I'm going to give it out on Twitter after this.
Beautiful. And that +4 was -110, I assume there.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's keep it rolling. And Connor, just let me know if you want to make anything official as well. We roll on to a great game here. Army, Tulane. Hey, Connor, fun fact. Did you know that Army is in New York? Did you know that? Because I sure didn't. West Point here. Army, Tulane. Huge game here. It's funny, because Tulane lost last week to Memphis. Now we're going to see them come back here and try to play an Army team that just beat UTSA in pretty classic fashion, honestly. We know what to expect from Army. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. But this just seems like one of those years that they're no one's stopping them. At some point, you just pound, and then the other team just kind of gives it up there. The defense collapses here. What's also funny? It's a beautiful thing what NIL is doing for these service academies or whatever the fuck is happening that is making them so good. They might not use the transfer portal, but U.S. Army, Navy, they're getting their players with some funding somehow, and I respect it. 4.5-point favorites are these Tulane green waves here. I was a little surprised by that number. It opened up at 5.5. It's up to a 5 now. We have 55% of the bets, 62% of the money on Tulane. This feels like a stupid question coming out of my mouth, and I'm going to ask it to you, Wine Time, as we get this going. And again, it feels like a stupid question coming out of my mouth, but is there potentially maybe a look ahead spot for the Army Black Knights here? Because they have a huge game against Navy, obviously, next week. But this is a conference championship game. So it feels dumb to ask. I don't know. It's a great game. I can't wait to watch it. Personally, for me, I lean Army here, but the line is moving away from me, and it doesn't make me feel great and not enough confidence to bet it here. What do you think here?
Yeah, good question, Jose. What's going to be a bigger matchup for them? Either the conference championship, a game that they're never in ever, or the game that means everything to them every single year in the academy game? Good question there. We're going to see here, man. Army played a good game against UTSA. Shout out to UTSA, Jose, man. They got I like that squad. They've been making me some cash the last couple weeks. We took them plus the 7 last week. We should have got them on the money line. But we didn't. Is what it is. This is going to be played in West Point, New York. Army, 10-1 season. The quarterback Daly, the guy's doing it all right now, mostly on the ground. He can get it done through the air too. That's been kind of Army this season. They've been switching it up, and they're actually using the pass game. Entering this game 10-1, how impressive is that, man? Tulane, on the other hand, lost their head coach last season over at Houston now. Still in the conference championship game. I have a lean towards Army. I have nothing in this one, honestly. I do lean towards the under as well, but it's dropped 3 points from the opening mark, and I didn't move on it initially. I'm not going to give it out at 45.5. I don't like it at 45.5, but that's probably my lean. And I lean towards Army. I think this is a big game for them. Their conference game. You mentioned they have a look ahead spot, but I mean, they got a conference championship. That's a big deal right there. So we'll see what happens. But with that being said, I got nothing on this game.
Yeah, and again, it feels dumb to say like they're looking ahead and they're not focused on a conference championship game, but kind of just again underscores the importance of Army Navy there. But I agree. I think they'll be locked in here. I still lean Army here. Conor Mac, again, this is going to be a fun matchup here. Tulane, what do you think here?
Yeah, that's true, Steve. But this is the best team they've seen out of them. And Navy just got rolled, and they really hit the shits after halfway through the year. And we knew this Army team is a lot better. So Tulane last week, I don't know if they gave their best effort, but still they got their ass kicked. Talked about 2 touchdowns was just a crazy amount in that game. And both these teams want to run. I mean, Army 312, of course, and because of that schedule, they only gave up 124. But I talked about how when they face better teams, they got gashed up Tulane. Well, there was Kansas State and Oklahoma. Then they played the cupcake schedule of all these teams that both of them have played. And on the other side, Tulane's ran it great. Balanced offense here, 212 for them. But Army's their run defense has been really good as well. And it showed, like in Air Force, the pass defense pretty good. North Texas, that game was a snore when it was 65 points, I think the total, maybe even higher. I think maybe it was like 67, 68. Did you talk about the total? I like the under as well. I think it's dropped a little bit too far. But I think this game, of course, they play Navy, but this is one they haven't, done in a long, long time. And as a dog here, I think they're live. We're seeing this come back. The 6 is where I grabbed it. It's just come down to 4.5. I think this comes down even a little bit more, down to maybe 3.5 by the rest of the week, because I think Army is definitely live in this game. I back Tulane a ton when they beat up on these shitty teams, UAB, Temple, and great win for Army. UTSA got the cover. I had UTSA as they were playing red hot. I don't really back them on the road. We backed them at home for 4 straight weeks. But I took the 6.5 with them. They kept it close. But I think this team and Daly are a little bit too tough, and I want these points in my back pocket. The total showing that this is going down. I think this game is lower scoring and it's tight. So give me Army here, plus 5.5, minus 108.
Army for Connor there, plus 5.5, minus 108. Beautiful work. I lean that direction as well. I'm not going to make it official, but I'll tell you what, under definitely appealing in this game. I agree with you both.
It's gonna be cold as shit.
76% of the bets and 56% of the money on the over in this game as well, and we've gone downward. So interesting. It's very interesting. I'll watch and learn and see here. Nice to see Gamblestein, Dabby Cab in here as well. Cab, by the way, dropped his full college basketball card. We'll talk about that here soon.
Where's he at? Tell him to get on here. Let's go. Let's talk about his bets.
There you go, Cab. You heard the man.
I just wanted to break down college basketball.
Let's go to our next game, and we finally, I respect the American Conference, but we're finally into the big conferences here. Yes, we're talking about the MAC. Ohio, Miami, Ohio here. The most electric conference in the America. I mean, come on. Everyone loves a little Maction here. And we've got Conor Mac joining us here, so he'll kick us off on this one. 84% of the bets, 65% of the money on the over in this game to start off this breakdown. People expecting some chaos here. And 61% of the bets, 87% of the money on Miami, Ohio here. Wow. That is, by the way, the second highest amount of all of these college championship games, conference championship games. We'll talk about the most percentages last here. But Miami, Ohio, getting a lot of love so far in the market. Opener here, ATS, we had a 2.5, and I'm seeing 1.5 now. Wow. Fascinating stuff here, gentlemen. This is a great game. Conor Mac, this is your conference. I'd like to think in my head canon that your parents named you after the Mac. But what do you think about this game?
Well, there's a lot of love to Miami, Ohio. This was threes all day yesterday, which I really like. But this is down where I thought it would go. I think this gets down to where it's been here. There's twos, the 1.5s, ones. I just think there's a little bit revenge on the mind here for Ohio. Both these teams have won 7 or 8 straight for both of them. Last week too. A lot of people like Bowling Green. I didn't buy it with them. Miami, Ohio, the better defense. They won outright. And both these teams, that's where this game is going to be played, in the trenches. Both these defenses have been excellent. I mean, 14th and 15th all year long. And I think they'll be really good here. One thing, I'm not going to mess with this total. I mean, I think it'd be 2 and under. But I've seen these games on a neutral field on this turf, and it just goes over in a championship game like this, even though I do think it'll be lower scoring. But one problem I have with Ohio, that's why I think if you wanted to back them, was the 3. A little bit of the revenge from last year losing. This was their last loss, I believe, 30-20. It's Parker Navarro. As good he is on the ground, he's had trouble. This is the game he got benched for a minute. You know, he's had 2 picks in that game. It was huge. They kind of got down and then just never came back and lost by 10. So he doesn't throw it a lot. But if he's good here, I think they win this. This game is a field goal type game. So he's got to take care of the ball. And I always talk about these are the better teams in the MAC, but these bad teams, turnovers, and just be wild in these fucking MAC games with these teams. Just back and forth. Bad handling on the ball, picks. So it's tough to get on. At the 3 was Ohio. I think they finally get their revenge. And when you look at both these defense, like Miami, Ohio in that first game had a little success running the ball. Although I think they had 150 yards. And they do have Gabbert, but I think he is what he is. He's a solid college quarterback. But maybe that's all you need here. It's just kind of a field general for them to get the win. But little revenge, I think, for Ohio in this game.
Little revenge for Ohio here. And by the way, Connor, thank you for mentioning. If you guys don't know, this game is in Ford Field here, or the MAC. You know, I'd like to think in Ford Field there's a bunch of obviously Lions stuff, you know, Hall of Fame, blah, blah, blah. I want there to just be one corner of Ford Field, just the MAC Hall of Fame. Just MAC Hall of Fame. They've got the championship trophy there, the whole thing. Shout out to Ford Field. Wine time, an interesting game. MAC championship. By the way, if you want to go to this game, $6 to go watch this illustrious championship game. How can you not go if you're in the Detroit area? Wine, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, interesting matchup here, Jose. I was just looking at the weather. Right now, it's wind gusts up to 33 miles per hour the next couple of days. We'll see what happens on Saturday. It is a little bit cold out there in Detroit, so I'm guessing that's why the total is dropping. We're also seeing 16% of the bets on the under and like 30% of the money, I believe, and it's dropped a half point. Really crazy. I could only lean towards the under, but the thing is, I just can't take unders in MAC action. I can't do it. Despite the weather, I've done it too many times this year. I've given it out extra plays on here, and I've gotten burned on them. That's cost me some games here when I've trusted the weather, and just somehow there's 80-yard bombs, kick returns for touchdowns. That's what happens in the MAC. Anything can happen despite the weather. I could only lean towards the under, though, but I'm not going to take it. Sidewise, Miami, Ohio, they have been playing some good ball here. Gabbert, big win last week. I think he's an older guy too. I think this is like his 5th or 6th year, potentially his last game until they have the bowl game. Nothing on the side for me. I have a lean towards the under. I'm not going to move on it though, just because I've gotten burned on it too many times this year.
Okay, lean towards the under.
We're good though. It's in the dome, so no weather.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're in the before.
We got your point though, Wine. The weather, you think under, and you still get the overs here.
Well, half these games are played home, and for half these teams, and half of them are in these neutral.
Yeah, and it's a weird game. Always, I think, when just watching it because you're in Ford Field and it's like half empty, and you still have all these rowdy ass fans there, but it's a very fun game to watch here. So no action for me here. Wine staying off. Connor likes a little Ohio revenge. And
if you got a 3 yesterday, that I think was it. This is where I thought the line would go. Was down, and I'm a little surprised it already did. Maybe after the limits, and then now we finally got the Ohio money.
That would be my guess as well.
Yeah, all this big heavy money on the tickets and the percentage Miami, Ohio, and then we let go of the limits, and the big bets came here on Ohio.
I long to be the guy that goes and bets $5,000 on a Mac game. I would love to do that one day. That'd be a fun time. But shout out to everyone in the chat here as well. We guys breaking all these games down, getting great analysis from you guys as well. Steve Fehrenbach, God bless you. I know you had a tough weekend with the Ohio State Buckeyes, but I'm glad that you're still here, my man. Shout out to you.
They're still going to be in the playoffs regardless, so.
Yeah, but who cares about the playoff if you lose to Michigan
4 times?
Who cares? That's the point.
Oh, man.
Let's go to an actual game now. A game that you actually have to pay money to get into. They won't let you in for free, though it's only $50. Iowa State, Arizona State, Wine Time Sports, Arizona State Sun Devils here because he has been touting the youth over there. The young coach doing his damn thing, projected to finish last in the Big 12 this year, and now they're in the conference championship game and favored in the conference championship game as well. I respect Arizona State's magical run to this point. Their last game, you saw the fans rush the field. They had to put time back on the clock, the whole damn thing. This magical run has been just fun to watch. 64% of the bets, 71% of the money on Arizona State here as well. This used to be Iowa State -1 and is now Arizona State -2. So that's fascinating as well. Wine, you can kick this one off here because I know from, I think, like a week ago, you're sitting on Arizona State to win the Big 12, correct?
Yes, sir. We gave it out on the show. We gave it out at +350. Took it before that big game. Was against BYU. Yeah, when all that craziness happened at the end a couple weeks ago, we got that locked in. And I think I'm very confident in this bet too, Jose. I've already touched on this Arizona State team. Kenny Dillingham, man, this guy's been only 33 years old, but he's been coaching since he was 17 years old. He was a senior in high school. He blew out his knee. His head coach at the time, who's now, by the way, his special teams coordinator, guys, crazy, told him, let's get you start coaching your senior year. You're not going to be good at football. And look where he's at now, man. He ended up coming back to his home city of Tempe, Arizona. This is where he grew up. Him and his wife both grew up here. He said 2 years ago, he's going to put everything into this program. And he said he needs fans in the stands. He needs people to show support. That's exactly what they've been doing because he's been showing the results on the field. This guy's potentially already one of the best coaches in all of college football because he's been under so many good minds as far as Mike Norvell, Nick Saban, all these Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning. He's been around all of these guys. He was working at Oregon. He got Bo Nix to come there. He got Dante Moore to commit there and ended up decommitting and go to UCLA when he flipped to ASU. With that being said, man, what does ASU like to do? They like to run the ball, guys, 60% rate. They like to do it with their running back, Cam Scatabo. This guy's a beast, man. Him and Devin Neal, the two best running backs in the Big 12, two of the best running backs in the nation. This guy was a transfer from Sacramento State. I don't know what the heck he was doing there, man. I don't know how no one saw him. But Kenny Dillingham just found another good person out there that was performing well that not a lot of people were taking note of. With that being said, they've also got a really good wide receiver over there in Jordan. Let me pull it up right now. I don't know why I blanked on his name right now. On Jordan Tyson, this guy's got 1,000 yards. He'd like to get the ball in his hand. Dillingham talked about it this week. What does he like to do on offense? Put the ball in the hands of his playmakers, whether if it's a pass to Scatabo, a pass to Tyson. They like to get them in open space and see what they can do with the ball in their hands because they're explosive in open space, and these guys can take off at any time, especially Jordan Tyson, one of the more underrated wide receivers in college football right now, man. ASU doesn't have, they weren't expected to be here. On the other hand, Iowa State also not really supposed to be here. The first 10-win season, I believe, in program history, if I'm not mistaken. Big time. This is a big time matchup for them. Shout out to all their fans for always coming out to their home games. They really rock and roll out there at Iowa. They've been playing some good ball here, coming off a big win last week. Their quarterback, Rocco Beck, is a little bit inconsistent the last couple of games for me. In their losses, especially, he's been turning the ball over. It's going to be interesting to see what they do there. Iowa, though, this is a very disciplined secondary, guys. This is a very good secondary that they have over there. They like to play man-on-man. They don't like to double team. They like to play their game, and it works for them. They're able to handle these guys that they've been playing all season long. I think Iowa State allowing just 21.5 points per game. That's 25th in the nation. But listen, guys, ASU just has all the momentum going towards their way right now. That BYU game was crazy at the end. Yeah, they blew that huge lead. They were in total control of that game and just kind of took their foot off the gas. He said after that game, they're not going to do that again. I trust in that. I think ASU's winning this game. They're going to the college football playoff, and they're going to make a run depending on who they play. I just think they're built for this kind of thing. All these kids they're playing for their coach, and they're playing for each other. He talks about it. These guys, after the games, they go and hang out with each other. They don't just go to their dorms. They go and get food together, go watch movies and stuff. They're building something special over there, and you don't see that at Arizona State, guys. You don't ever see that in Tempe. So with that being said, we're going to take ASU. We took them on the money line, guys. Gave them out at -125 on Twitter last night. All these are 1-unit plays. This is more than a 1-unit play for me, guys. This is like a 2-unit play for me. I've got them to win the Big 12 championship. I just think all the momentum's towards this way, and there's no way Iowa State stops them here. Give me Arizona State money line.
All right, Arizona State for Wine. Just to let you know, Wine, that your guy, I forgot his name already, the wide receiver you just mentioned, Jordan
Tyson, he's out.
Yes, he's tight. He's tight. He's out. He hurt himself in that last Arizona game, so he should be out.
Is he practicing this week? I thought I saw.
No, he's out indefinitely.
He's out. His shoulder's fucked.
3-4 months, donezo. So that might hurt a little bit, but I still do like Arizona State in this game as well here with you. Now, Connor, This is a very interesting matchup here because it feels like Iowa State, and it's hilarious to say this about Iowa State, it feels like Iowa State is the team that's been there, been to the Big 12 championship. Yeah. They're always kind of in the mix. And Arizona State, that young up-and-coming team, I'm a little worried about the experience differences here. Obviously, Matt Campbell, very good coach as well. No one talks about him ever because he doesn't want to leave there. But he's also a very good coach, a lot of experience. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, he does. This is one thing. I like this under at this. This over with Tyson in. I just with him out. This guy's been huge for him. Basically over 100 yards a game he's been averaging. They do have some solid, receivers, and they'll be all right. But to have him in would have been really big. Because one thing in these Arizona State games is not only them covering, which I've been on a few, is these games have gotten over the number. Kind of right around here when they've been around 49, 50. And one thing, Iowa State's defense is all right. The secondary is better. I don't trust their run defense. It hasn't been very good all year. It was good early on against some cupcakes, but 175 yards. They did play well last week. I thought Kansas State should have ran it well, and they played well in the fourth quarter. But all year long, it has not been good. 173 yards. They've given up on the ground, 96 in the country. So Scatabo should be handing the ball off to that big fella and let him keep eating. That's another thing which could kill the clock. But yeah, I like Arizona State. Here it's hard to jump off now, but it seems like everyone's on them. And I'm going to wait to bet it. I'm going to wait to bet the total too. I just want to just look at a few more things in this game.
Understandable. And
yeah, and Connor mentioned it too. Iowa State, they did play well against the run last week. It was their senior night. It was blackout night. That was a clear-cut Iowa State spot. I just think they don't got an answer for Cam Scotabo here, man. They're going to keep handing the ball off to him, and he's going to force you to tackle him 30 times this game. They're going to pass him the ball. Tyson's going to be out, so they're going to have to get a couple of their other receivers involved. But like I said, they like to run the ball here. And Sam Levitt, he likes to run with it too. He's a good athlete. Even with Tyson out, I still like ASU, but I mean that's definitely a big blow.
I agree. I think Arizona State wins this game. It's going to be fascinating. Another aspect of this is fan attendance. Obviously, Iowa and Arizona, pretty close, I guess, relatively. But I think the fact that Arizona State in a big game here will bring out the Arizona State fans. So I think it'll be pretty even when it comes to that as well. Let's roll on here to our next spot here, and let's talk about one of the big ones here. SEC Championship. Georgia versus Texas. We've seen this matchup once already. Georgia rolled into Austin in one of the biggest games of the year. The whole fucking city shut down. We had the F1 here as well. A huge weekend, all for them to just kind of let it run down their leg, and Texas to let them roll and win here. Now we've kind of got the flip reverse here, Connor. We're not in Athens, Georgia, but we might as well be, because I know Georgia fans have the SEC Championship marked down on their calendars every year now because they expect to go now. And this is in the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta, Georgia. So there's going to be a shitload of Dogs fans there. Now, don't get me wrong. I expect Texas to travel well, but I expect there to be at least like 70% Georgia fans there, which will make things interesting. I was pretty surprised, Connor, I'm not going to lie, to see that Texas was a 2.5-point favorite here. Georgia is not that good. We all know that at this point. Carson Beck is meh. We have the quarterback advantage pretty decisively here, but everything else is tight. It's super tight here, Connor, and I just don't know what to expect from either squad here. Kirby versus I just don't know what to expect. Like, I've gone back and forth on this game, and let's talk market here and see where the people are betting it here. 11,000 tickets in here. Third most bet game, so fourth most bet game actually so far. People love them some UNLV Boise State. But people bet in this game, 53% of the bets, 61% of the money on Georgia here. So not really a public dog, but more people like them. Two will open up at a 2, now a 2.5 here. Might even see some 3s. It makes it tough. It makes it tough to try to back Georgia here. I at the end of the day, I have to kind of rely on the fact that I trust Quinn Ewers. I kind of believe in Texas's offense a little more than I do in Georgia's. Carson Beck just not good enough, I think. It's funny, Connor. I roll into this season thinking that Quinn Ewers is the best quarterback in the country. Carson Beck's probably number 2. I still feel that way about Quinn Ewers. Carson Beck, obviously not good anymore, and I don't think should be a number 1 or first-round quarterback. It's a tough game. I went back and forth. I lean Texas as of right now, but it is a daunting task to go into Georgia, go into Atlanta, which is, again, I'll say it again, basically a home game for Georgia here because these fans know and expect to go to the conference championship game every year. And is Texas going to win the SEC in their first go-around in it? What do you think here, Connor? Texas, Georgia.
Yeah, this is tough because, this is what Texas has been waiting for after that horrible fucking game. They're one horrible loss. Then you got, like you talked about, this game just down the road. So it'll be packed with Georgia fans. And I'd say, of course, 2 of the best teams. In that first matchup, it didn't matter the picks that he had. I thought he played his best game too. last week in that crazy one, which we'll touch on.
Yeah,
they kind of got down.
Connor, real
go
quick,
ahead.
could you remind me, was that Carson Beck's, or excuse me, Quinn Ewers' first game back from that injury he had? Because we obviously
I think it was his second game, but I don't.
We
Not
saw
sure.
Arch come into that game for a little bit as well when Sarkisian was trying to, shake the snow globe and to have something come out. But I think, and Rick J mentioning I was saying this because Rick J mentioning that Quinn Ewers was in a box last time. I think Quinn Ewers is going to play a lot better comparatively than last time. I think he's just in a rhythm now compared to coming off of 1-2 games off an injury. But go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, that was the second game. He came back the week before against Oklahoma. So the last one Manning started was Mississippi State. Yeah, and the fumbles were bad. They had 4 turnovers. He had a pick. I mean, they just ball was heading out everywhere. And we talked about that. That is a killer. And so they kind of got up and sat on it. Georgia defense played well, but we've seen them slip. I mean, look at last week. I mean, it's a tiring long game, but Georgia Tech ran all over them. And in that first meeting, they got down by 16-0 was it at halftime? Real quick. Yeah, I had the game just pulled up. Georgia was up 16-0.
Yeah,
23-0. 23-0. So they couldn't run it. They didn't run the ball at all. Like, they have to run 27 carries for 29 yards. Texas, like, that has to change. Like, and I know when you get down, you basically can't run it. You're fucked when you're down over 20 points. So just the turnovers can't happen early. They got to establish the run and see if they could do that. But one thing why at least Texas, I think, is in this, and when you see Georgia as a dog, I get it. Like, this is Kirby Smart. You want to jump like all over it. I liked it the first matchup in that one. And we'll get to the total. But I think they play better. And the most thing I've been impressed with, and that's why they've been one of the best teams, is their defense. With Texas, it's like even these games that got tough, where they've had to play on the SEC, even in the row, like a place like Arkansas, they were able to get out wins, and their defense didn't give up much. 10.7 last week, stopping on the goal line. So they need to rely on that defense to get after Beck. And he's a little bit of a wild card. They talked about back there. But this game should be a lot of fun. And the first matchup, I thought it was wrong. They went into this scoring all these points, playing the cupcakes. We had a 57 total. I love the under. That was one that, and it was easy. Now we're back to a number I think we should be, but it might be just a little bit too low, as much as I talked about the Texas defense. So I lean that way. I get in these big games. It has been much Texas, but Bama and Georgia and all these games, big time, there's just, when all these athletes, the speed gets on the field, there's overs, especially on the inside in the dome. That's another reason why I am not running to basically an 8-point difference here on the total to the under. So great game. Great game.
It's going to be a fun one here. I can't wait to watch.
This is one, too, I like to bet live, too. Like, I mean, a huge game. All the eyes will be on it. So if you don't have something pre-game, to bet this live.
Agreed. I mean, I'll say it again. I'm sucking my own dick here a little bit. Excuse for the language, but I mean, it took 2 seconds of watching Ohio State, Michigan to realize that Ohio State didn't have it against Michigan. So if you just watch the game for a little bit, a quarter or two, you'll still get some good prices. Hopefully, assuming the game is close still. Wine, love to hear your thoughts on this massive game here.
Yeah, Georgia. They've had some hiccups the last couple of weeks, especially on defense. Mentioned against Massachusetts, against Georgia Tech. This just isn't the same Georgia team we're used to seeing every single year. I don't think they necessarily have the right personnel over there right now. I mean, they have the right recruiting. I mean, Nate Frazier and ETN both rotating that running back right now. I'm not sure is ETN playing in this one. I believe he is, but Nate Frazier, the true freshman, right out of here from Modern Day High School. He's been their primary running back this season, playing some really good ball. Texas, on the other hand, man, people don't really talk about this defense. This defense has been deep this year, man. They're probably one of the top 5 defenses in the nation, if you ask me. Personnel-wise, they have a really good front seven. They're going to be able to get after Carson Beck, force him to turn the ball over. Texas has a lot of revenge here in this spot here. I think that I have Texas on the money line minus 130 in this one. I think getting the loss at home earlier this season, we mentioned it. Ewers coming back. It was his second game back. didn't look so well. I mean, even their offense didn't look that great last week against A&M, and A&M had every chance in that game to win that game, not only to cover that game, but to win that game outright. A&M beat themselves in that one. But UGA has had some hiccups, like I said, man. And I think Texas is going to be able to get to that quarterback Carson Beck and force him to get some turnovers, especially in the red zone when they're driving down there. I'm not impressed by Carson Beck. I don't think he's an NFL-type quarterback. He is a gunslinger, don't get me wrong, but I haven't been impressed this season by him by any means. Quentin Ewers, I think this is a big game for him right here. You might see some Arch Manning here on some run plays like we saw last game against A&M. But I'm on Texas minus 130 here all day. Honestly, I think they're going to win this championship game. I think they're the better team. They're the better defense. And I think they have the bigger guys up front, which is wild to say against Georgia. But Texas they've got some dudes over there on that defensive line that I think are going to cause some havoc over there.
You know why they got to run it too? Georgia Tech dominated the time of possession last week. I mean, they fucked that game up by losing. And then it got to OT and went crazy back and forth. But 38 minutes almost to 22. I think Texas, they need to do that as well. Just dominate the line of scrimmage here on both sides.
100%.
Yeah, this is a game where both teams are coming off of shaky performances last week. So I can't, and again, maybe, look ahead spot. I don't think it was for Texas personally because Texas A&M, big matchup for them, obviously, but it's going to be a fun game. I think this is, most obvious statement in the world, but this is the game I'm going to be looking forward to the most to watch here. So I can't wait. If you're in this chat right now, let us know what you're on. Obviously, hit the like button while you're here. And again, let us know what you're on because I'm fascinated to see thoughts and opinions on this game. They can't all be great, guys. They can't all be great. And we go to the Fun Belt, a.k.a. the Sun Belt, for a little Marshall versus Louisiana. The Raging Cajuns here. We just talked Georgia, Texas. That was all fun and sexy. But now we're going into the swamps here. We're getting filthy with a little Louisiana Marshall love here. Now, first, I've been doing a shitty job of mentioning this off the top. I'll mention that this game is in Louisiana, in Lafayette, on Cajun Field, making this a little more difficult for Marshall here. Public betting information here. We've got 52% of the bets and 62% of the money on Louisiana. Jesus, easy for me to say there. So a lot of people liking Louisiana there, and the line is moving in their direction as well. We had a 3.5 opener up to a 5.5 now. So expecting the Raging Cajuns to roll here. Wine, we can start off with you here. What do you have? Any thoughts, feelings, bets on the Fun Belt here?
Man, shout out to Marshall Thunder and Herd over there. Big win last week against JMU. I didn't give it out officially. I had them the plus 3.5. I took them at the second half too. When they were down a good score, end up coming back, going to overtime and beating JMU on the road. Very impressive, man. Marshall's been playing some good ball going down the stretch here. Having a 9-3 season over there, that's big time for them, man. This is going to be in Lafayette, Louisiana, though. So Louisiana does have the home field advantage here. I think we're seeing everything right now from the line movement that Louisiana, the public's hammering them, or I don't know if it's the Sharps and public hammering them, and it's gone to a minus 5.5. I didn't do too much deep dive into this game. I like the quarterback, Brandon Marshall over there, Braylon Braxton, the dual threat quarterback, playing some really good ball over there. I'm not sure why this line's moving 2 points, though. Maybe C-Mac can touch on that a little more. I had a lean towards Marshall. They cashed for me last week, though. I think this might be a letdown spot for them. Conference championship game, though. It's on the road. It's going to be a tough spot for them in this environment. I had a lean towards Marshall, but I got nothing on this game.
Connor, what do you think?
Yeah, Marshall, one thing I think, it's always tough. I love Louisiana at home. They've been good this year, pretty good, too, at covering numbers. But I like them a little bit more when they're catching points. And this Marshall team, it's tough to just go against as well on the social field. They're 10-1 ATS this year. Yeah. Something's a little bit. I have this line just more at 3.5. When I go through all the common opponents that they played it, it's just similar type scores. And Marshall was good on the road. They had that blown game with Georgia Southern when they were up like 23-5 and they lost 24-23. And before that, they lost Virginia Tech and Ohio State early on the road. But since then, those last three, especially the last two, Old Dominion and then James Madison, like you just hit on, Weinstein, I think this team is ready to go. Fields has stepped in for Louisiana, but I think he's played the last 3 or 4 weeks. Nothing's really changed, I think, for that offense. I just don't know. Even at home, this team's really almost a touchdown favorite, basically. I lean to Marshall catching the points here. It's just, can the kind of the magic run keep going here? And I mean, they've just been rolling ATS. It's just hard to go against them. Yeah. I love Louisiana at home normally, and they've been good. So tough one. But I lean Marshall too. This is one I knew I was going to sit with a little bit all week.
Okay, I understand.
This game has a little rain, didn't it? When I was looking at, oh no, we're clear. 52 clear. Okay.
Well, this is going to be a fun matchup, and to shock you guys, $50 to get into this game right now. $50. Now, I say that to say we're going to move on to our next game, because this game, could you believe it? Only $17 to get into Penn State, Oregon here. 3 versus 1, the Big Ten championship game, and Lucas Oil Stadium in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm sure it's cold as fuck there right now. 3.5 point spread for Oregon, the only undefeated team against a Penn State team that yesterday, and I know what Wine's going to say today, very fraudulent team. Cabby said it yesterday. I'm sure you agree, Wine. Very fraudulent team. James Franklin, we all know his deal, and we all saw Michigan beat Ohio State last week to give Penn State this opportunity. But I'll say this. The main thing keeping me off of betting Oregon in this spot is that this is the most popular bet of all conference championship week right here. 14,000 tickets in. The most of any game so far. 91% of the bets, 95% of the money on the Oregon Ducks here. And this line has stuck rock solid on this 3.5 here. So I don't know. I don't think Penn State wins this game. If they do, that is going to be James Franklin's career pinnacle achievement, getting the number 1 seed here. But man, I just say that heavy money on the 3.5 and the line not moving just makes me feel like this is a 3-point game. This is a 1-point game. It's going to be very close. And if I had to play anything in this game, I'm going to be one of the very few people taking Penn State plus 3.5 here. It's going to be a fascinating game. Connor, kick us off here. James Franklin, Dan Lanning, a huge matchup here. You can only get in for $17. You have to pay $50 to get into the Fun Belt Championship. $17? This is a steal. People should be packing this stadium out, Connor.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be packed. It will definitely pack. Lucas Oil Stadium. It holds a ton. It should be all sold out. Here's the deal. I mean, you're basically wanting to take James Franklin here, thinking that Penn State can stay in this game. I can't put my money on it. Like, there's just, and the main, if they're in this game, it's their defense. It's going to be similar to like the trouble spot that Oregon had with Wisconsin. That was a road game at night, but this is a neutral. But that's I think the way Penn State stays in this. I mean, when you look at it, their defensive numbers have been very good, but every time they step up, like, look, Ohio State only had 20, but look what Michigan did without a fucking quarterback. I mean, last week, so it's exactly a little crazy. But both these defenses have been great. They played Oregon a little bit more seasoned, I think. And I've been most impressed. I talked about it all year, this defense for Oregon. I think all these years, it's the glitz and glamour of the offense, how fast they are. I've been most impressed with their secondary. That's been good. And against the run, they've been pretty good as well. Only giving up, 112 yards a game, 21st in the country. So, and I don't trust Aller. I don't want Aller. They're going to have to run the ball. That leads me to an under in this game. This leads me under here, and I could only look at Oregon. It's like everyone's going to be on here. But hey, I think they win. The hook's a little strange. Like, I think you maybe just go money line here if this is a close game. I don't know how it is. I've seen James Franklin do this for 10 years now, and he loses. So until he wins, no money for me.
Well, coin illustrates it perfectly right here. James Franklin is 1-16 straight up versus top 5 teams. Good.
If you want to eat the juice, or maybe put this in a parlay. I don't know. With Oregon, I think they win the football game. Still, this team's undefeated. I always talk about that. Going through the full year, bulls on their back. But this Penn State team continues to go in these games and not perform well. Just at all. I think Gabriel can make enough plays too in the end for this Oregon team to win.
This is, like you said, shaping up to be an under kind of lane for me, and it's kind of the same vibe of Tulane Army, I believe. It was the other one. Another game that I lean under with you here. And if I think the dog is going to stay in the game, then I expect it to be lower scoring. Same thing again, Army Tulane. I expect that to be a lower. If that's going to be a low scoring game, then Army's going to be in it, etc. I really think that Penn State stays in this game. Now, I don't know about them winning this game because, again, 1-16, as Coin just mentioned. But I like that underlook, Connor. It's warming up to me. Wine time, massive game. And
real quick on the under, I'll wait a little bit. I mean, maybe this goes up a little bit more, and I'd love to get over 51 and right around there if we can. That's all the reason why I'm not giving it to you right now.
That would be great because, I mean, obviously everyone's on the over in this game, Connor.
Yeah,
91,
everyone's going to bet.
91% of the bets, 99% of the money right now on the over in this game. So I agree.
I'll wait for the best number.
I agree with you. Wait and bet that under. Wine time, massive game. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a massive game, Jose. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to lie. Everything C-Mac said was pretty much in my breakdown, man. I mean, when you're looking at the eye test in this game, guys, it's Oregon all day long, Like Penn State, I've faded them so many times this year and cashed on them. I'm saying they're a fraudulent team, man. But when you look down at their schedule, the only loss they have is to Ohio State, and it was to 7 points. Yeah, the game was a little bit more telling than 7 points. I would think Ohio State kind of took their foot off the gas and just wanted to win that game. With that being said here, this is a neutral site. This is going to be cold out there. This isn't going to be played in Oregon. Don't get me wrong. Oregon players are going to be used to playing in the cold, but Drew Aller's been playing good football over there at Penn State. No lie. They got the Kansas offensive coordinator from last year, Coach Koldenicki. Has this offense dialed in right now. They're a run-first offense with Singleton and their other running back over there. They like to rotate those two. Oregon, on the other hand, C-Mac touched on it. This is a good defense over there. This defensive line is really good, but Penn State offensive line also pretty good. It's going to be a best on best in this spot. It's going to be if Penn State can honestly contain these wide receivers on Oregon, the Tez Johnsons, and then you got the running back Jordan James, who's playing really good this season as well. They've got a lot of running backs over there that can do well with the ball in their hands, man. They're just loaded with talent over there at Oregon. Shout out to Will Stein, man. I wish UCLA would just gut their entire coaching staff and pay this guy the big bucks to come there and coach this team, because Will Stein's going to be a really good head coach. He's most likely going to get hired somewhere in the next year or two. Really good offensive mind over there at Oregon. He's going to have these guys dialed in. Dylan Gabriel knows this offense, man. I mean, Bo Nix, they came up short against Washington in the 2 games last year. Oregon hasn't came up short against anyone this year. Gabriel, as much smack as I talked on him in the beginning of the year, turning the ball over early in the season, he's gotten this offense dialed in and he's playing big time football. I can't take Oregon though, guys. Like, how can we take them here? -3.5. Everyone's taking them. It's a clear cut Oregon spot, guys. But like earlier, the ASU was a clear cut spot, but at the same time, everyone in this spot wants Oregon because it's only a 3.5, and Penn State hasn't been blowing teams out, but they're still a good squad. They have a really good defense over there. With that being said, guys, I gave it out on Twitter yesterday. I'm on the under 49.5, -110. I'm not going to get involved with this side yet, guys, unless I can get a 4 with Penn State, honestly. I think this might end up getting down to a 3 because Oregon has nothing to play. I mean, yeah, sure, they're going to win their first ever Big Ten championship, but I mean, they lose this game, they're going to most likely have home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs, other than Penn State, and maybe even still have a first round bye because they've beaten Ohio State. They've beaten some impressive teams this year. This team is in no matter what. Penn State's in no matter what, too. I just think this might be a close game. At the beginning of the week when this line came out, I wanted Oregon so bad, and I've waited these last couple of days and just keep seeing everyone on Twitter, everyone online, the market hammering Oregon, and the line won't budge here, guys. This looks like a clear-cut Penn State fade the public spot on that alone. If you're looking at the eye test, you can't tell me Penn State in any way, shape, or form. You just can't. Oregon's a clear-cut better team, but something's fishy about this line that maybe Penn State can backdoor cover this at the 3.5, lose by 3. I don't know. With that being said, I'm off the side. I'm on the under 49.5 because both these defenses are really good. And I think these teams are going to move the ball methodically down the field. Penn State likes to run it. Oregon, they do like to run fast, but Penn State has a good defense. So I do think Penn State's going to be able to stop them in some situations from scoring in the red zone, maybe getting a turnover. We've seen Dylan Gabriel we saw him throw a pick 6 against UCLA, 100-yard pick 6. We've seen him throw picks in the red zone all season long. So we'll see what happens here. I'm on the under, though, guys. I can't take a side, though.
It's going to be a fun game. I'm going to be on the under here as well. I'm going to wait and bet it and see. Hopefully, we can get up to a 50 here. That would be great.
I see at FanDuel 50.5, unless that's stale.
Oh.
Maybe that's the best line I see.
I hadn't seen. I hadn't done the market shopping for the total yet. But I'm excited here. I'm excited to look and see what happens here. But if I can find that 50, and I will probably do the research right now, I'll bet it myself here. But yeah, this feels like a low scoring. Just
like what Kong said, though, he said, I'm prepared to lose. Like if you've been bad, this Oregon team is the clear-cut better team. And if they win, it's like, obviously, because they were the clear-cut better team. But sometimes it's not that easy. But if you feel like, I don't know, I would feel comfortable back in Oregon too, because I wanted to up until today, just from looking at the market. That's the only thing keeping me off Oregon, guys, is the market and the line not moving. That's the only thing. Oregon should beat these guys by 10, honestly. That's how much better they are than these guys. So we'll see.
I agree with you. But as primarily market better, I'm probably going to be on Penn State, and it's going to be very fun. It was a great breakdown there, gentlemen. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this game. We've got one last game to talk about here, and it's a big one. Both these teams are going to end up in the playoffs, it seems. We'll see. But it has SMU, Clemson, the old ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference, the conference I grew up watching, and it's turned into a shit show, unfortunately. But 2.5-point favorites. We're seeing some 2s now for SMU. SMU has kind of been the clear-cut best team in the ACC kind of all year, honestly. And by the way, this is in Carolina, the Panthers Stadium, Bank of America Stadium. So we'll see a lot of Clemson's fans there. $38, if you guys are interested. $38 to get into this game. Not bad. But I would assume this is going to be like 70-30 Clemson fans there. SMU far, obviously, we know. But those SMU alumni, rich people, I'll tell you that as well. SMU dominating their last 5 games. They've given up 6 points and 7 points in the last 2 games against Cal and UVA. Clemson coming off of a 17-14 loss to South Carolina. It really feels like Clemson is just your classic bully. Your classic bully. They'll pick on and they'll beat up all the small schools. But if you get an SEC school or a good ACC school up against them, they wilt, they fold, and they are not good enough. I don't trust Klubnik. At the end of the day, I really don't trust Dabo either. He's one of 4 coaches that has won a national championship, but just no trust in there either. So, so far I'm thinking SMU. Again, and then let's go to the spreads here. I'm on totals here. Pretty split totals wise, or excuse me, spread wise, 53% of the bets, 52% of the money on SMU. And again, I'll mention that this line 2.5 open there, still there. Some places showing 2s now, but I find this game to be really difficult to try to back and break down. Wine, last game on our card here for college football, last conference championship game, ACC championship game. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch this one, Jose. I'm more excited for this one than the Oregon Penn State game. SMU, a team that's just not really being talked about a lot by, honestly, on Twitter, on the national media, by anyone. They've been flying completely under the radar. They had a struggle to start the season. I was really high on them to start the season. I took their over wins total 8, cashed with ease. They had a really weak schedule this year, probably the weakest schedule in the ACC outside of Miami, maybe even a weaker schedule than them. I mean, if you ask me, I wanted to see SMU Miami. I wanted to see fireworks. I wanted to see a really good game in this one. Clemson, a team I'm not high on by any means this season. I like what Dabu is doing over there. They completely blew that game against South Carolina. They let Sellers beat them on the ground. And that's exactly what Kevin Jennings can do to you here. Kevin Jennings is a better passer than him as well. And I don't know if he's as good as a dual threat, but this guy can definitely run with the football in his hand. They made the change, really surprising change in the beginning of the season. The offense wasn't flowing, and they moved Preston Stone to the bench. And they moved Kevin Jennings, the true sophomore, to the starting quarterback position because he ran – shout out to Rhett Lashley, man. This guy's, I mean, I remember watching him at Auburn in 2015, offensive coordinator over there. I've been watching him ever since then. And he's inherited a program that was completely awful. And he's turned this team into an ACC title type of team. He didn't even hit the transfer portal too hard this season. He's kind of been building the last couple of years off the portal and off his recruiting. He's not a younger coach, but he's not an older coach either. He can relate to the players. The players like to play for this guy. I like what he brings to the table. I think he's going to be a Big Ten or a SEC coach here after this run he makes at SMU. Unless he wants to stay there, we'll see. But with that being said, I think this is a clear-cut SMU spot. Don't get me wrong. This is by far the toughest team they have played this season. I don't even know if SMU has beaten a ranked team that's ranked still currently this season. I don't think they have, but they've been pretty much putting their foot on the gas against anyone. That's what Rhett Lashley likes to do. He's an offensive mind. He likes to run the ball with his quarterback and with his running back, and he wants his quarterback to make plays. And that's what Kevin Jennings is going to do to you here. I think he's going to be able to have his way here. Don't get me wrong. Clemson's personnel is probably better than SMU's personnel, but I'm going to take Rhett Lashley in this spot. I think this game means everything to him. He wants to win an ACC title. He wants to go to the college football playoff and make a run. I'm high on this SMU team as I have been all year. Give me SMU here. Money line -125. Moved on it last night on Twitter. I think they take care of business. I think they're the ACC champs, and they can potentially make a run in the college football playoff. We'll see. Their personnel isn't like some of these other top-tier schools, but I believe in this offense that Lashley likes to run if these guys continue to buy in how they have been buying in.
Fascinating breakdown. And by the way, it is a little ironic that once paying players, dropping bags becomes legal, that SMU, the college program that is kind of synonymous for paying players and getting the death penalty, is now back to being a good football program. A little ironic, but very funny. Connor, Dabo Sweeney, do you trust that man?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, you know, and I don't want him in this game. I back SMU or nothing. I mean, I think this is kind of like the dream season that they've had. Now, this is just a step up. I thought they've had a really weak schedule. I mean, like they faced a few similar, like Pitt. The main one, they beat Louisville. Clemson lost. I guess that's kind of the best team on here. Then going back, they lost to BYU early on during the season. But I think this offense can move it here and hum in this game. I think they kind of do whatever they want. The Clemson defense has not been great. They've been able to give up some big plays on the ground. So I think this running game with Jennings and the tailbacks they have will easily, and they average about 180 on the ground, does this SMU team. It should be a good game. Klubnik, I don't trust. Look at last week. He threw a bad pick. They fumble it. Like,
that's crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah,
they did. And I've seen that happen plenty of times. I think they'll have some success. Like, what do we make of SMU's defense? Like, both these last two games, they playing great. I don't take Virginia and Cal kind of just as the year went on, kind of just,
Yeah.
End of the year got their ass kicked, but the defense has played the best, I think. And the games they got away with, like Duke and some of these others where they had turnovers, they were able to sneak out wins. So especially if SMU takes care of the ball, I think they can win it, maybe a close one. So I'd lean that way. I have a bet.
No bet for me. Wine time officially on SMU minus 125 money line there. Gentlemen, excellent breakdowns here for the college football, championship game, conference championship games. Let me quickly review your official action here that you guys have laid out. Connor, you only have one official bet right now that I wrote down as of now. I definitely might have missed some. Army plus 5.5 minus 108. He's going to let the market develop on the other ones and catch Connor.
Yeah, I'll have a couple more. I'll let everyone know what I'm on.
Of course. Yeah, I know Connor will have these games bet. Just let the market marinate here. Wine time, your card, ripe here. You have UNLV plus 4 minus 110 and money line plus 160. Arizona State money line minus 125. Texas money line minus 130. Penn State, Oregon under 49.5 minus 110, and SMU money line minus 110 there.
Yes, sir. And Stephen Miller, I'm on. He said I'm taking Clemson. I'm on SMU. I think SMU beats these guys. I think they're going to beat them by 10 plus. I think Lashley's going to get a lot of national attention after this game. I think they're going to win this game. I think they're going to be in total control of this game. So I am on SMU money line.
Well, that will repair his heart there as well. So shout out to you, Stephen Miller. Beautiful work. Wine time. Let me ask you quickly. Did you have any college basketball today that you wanted to shout out here? Anything you wanted to talk about? I know Conor Mac, of course, does, but I want to ask you first here real quick. Any college basketball games that you wanted to touch on real quick?
Nothing for me today. I'm still kind of capping the card right now. I might hop on here when you guys are talking about a certain game, and I'll give you a little signal to get me on here, and I'll give it a player or two.
Okay, well, beautiful. Wine time again. Congratulations on 60% there on the MLB, on the college football regular season. You were a fucking dog. You did it all year, and it's been beautiful to watch. I wish you luck this week and weekend. I know you've got a lot of money invested. We want some Arizona State futures as well to cash. That'd be lovely. Anything you want to plug before we get you out of here for, I guess, the time being? Might see you again here soon.
Yeah, guys. Shout out to Jose. Shout out to Jimmy. Shout out to Jeff. Everyone at Pub Sports for having me on this season. It's been a great time doing this. Look forward to just continue to do this with you guys. Break down games, man. Hopefully we keep it rocking and rolling this this conference championship week, bowl season. We got playoffs here. Got a lot of college football these next couple months, guys. It's the end of the regular season. Got a lot of things too. Transfer portal. It's crazy. All these things that are going on right now. But that's a whole different conversation. But shout out to you guys for having me as always, man. Shout out to everyone giving me all the support on Twitter too. It means a lot. All the people that have sent me nice messages and replies and stuff. People I don't even know. People names I haven't even heard and stuff. And I really appreciate it. So shout out to you guys. Let's just continue to cash these bets, man. And look forward to continue to do this. Follow me on X at Wine Time Sports.
Yes, do indeed follow him on X at Wine Time Sports. Shout out to you, Wine Time Sports, my guy. Hopefully we'll see him back here soon, maybe for a little college basketball. If not, God bless him. And it was a beautiful time having him on here. By the way, for you guys that are jumping into the chat right now, we're hitting college basketball right now. Conor Mac Picks going to quickly, well, I guess not that quickly, but he's going to talk on his bets for today in college basketball. I'm going to mention real quick, we have some bets from the chat here as well. Morgan Spooner's college basketball card right here. Albany minus, I'm assuming minus 5.5. He just has 5.5 there. So let us know if that's plus or minus there. I have not looked at that line, obviously. Fairfield minus 1.5. Idaho State plus 4.5. And Northern Arizona plus 5.5 there as well. Dabby Cab, our guy, dropped his card here as well. Alabama first half plus 1. Kansas minus 3.5. And Auburn first half plus 1.5. He's also on Baylor first half plus 1.5. Jeremy Roach over 2.5 threes. And that is just the other plays that he had in there as well. So I want to double check. He sent me a text message with some of the plays here as well. And that is all of them. Yes, beautiful. So shout out to you, Dabby Cab, there as well. We didn't mention Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play of the day earlier as well on the Clippers plus 2.5 there. So shout out to you, Ronnie Crawford. Beautiful. And it is Albany plus 5.5. Thank you, my guy, Morgan Spooner. Connor, I'm excited to hear your college basketball here. If you have any, I'm not actually 100% sure because I did not have my phone with me right now.
Yeah, I like Clippers too. +3 you can get.
Ooh, okay. Well, beautiful. Another note.
Just throwing that out there.
Well, thank you, Connor. I also like the Atlanta Hawks +4 as well. So there's my college basketball or my NBA, my one NBA play that I like here. But let's talk college basketball. This is a fun time of year for you, Connor. I'm sure now that there isn't a full week, full 200 games in college football here. You can now dive into the college basketball a little more here. I'll let you just kick it off. What's your, I don't know how many bets you have. I don't have my phone on me, so I didn't see that. I forgot to bring it over here to bring a text message, but I'm excited to hear what college basketball games you're on.
Yeah, I just have a couple here today going on. It's been college basketball's been humming. I can't complain. I want to get to a spot that I like here. FIU in this game. Florida Atlantic. Tough times these days for Florida Atlantic. Team 4-5. They have lost 3 straight, which I don't love. Florida Gulf Coast by 2. Of course, they lost to Drake last week by 12. This team just isn't playing any defense at all. They've been horrible. And usually this has kind of been the last 3 or 4 years because FIU playing so well. Have kind of beat up on FIU. Only, though, normally at home. FIU's played a really, really pretty good at home. only losing by 2. And I think they do that here today. This team just isn't the best shooting team here with FIU. I mean, they could really, really struggle at times. But so far this year, they played well again defensively against the 3. Now, that won't be easy against FAU. But I think they get the job done here today. They're getting 9 points at home. And they've had some similar type teams. I mean, and one thing with them, they've been in games all year long. They just lost the same team, Florida Gulf Coast, by 1, Jose. So, similar teams they just played. Bakersfield, they won. Northeastern, they lost by 2. At Rice, they lost by 7. Just close games. And at home, this is really where I only kind of want to back them, almost touching double digits against the FAU team. Unless they shoot just crazy lights out here, Jose, they're not covering. So I want the 9 points. You got a high total. This game will be for sure at least in the 70s. I don't know if we can get over this number, but FIU +9 -110. Take the home dog. You on mute?
Dude, god damn. I was perfect all show. And then you just make me nervous, I guess, Connor. I just have to mute myself and talk while I'm muted, I guess.
Hey.
But I like that look. Shout out to FIU. My sister, an alumni of FIU. Shout out to her.
Really?
And happy birthday to Carla Deportes as well. She's going to Morocco for her birthday. So bougie bitch. Bougie bitch. Yeah, bougie bitch, that Carla Deportes. Bougie bitch.
Also, FAU, massive favorites, of course, lately. They haven't covered. For now, I want to back them. That's why I'm on FIU.
I'll quickly mention there is allegedly bigger bets on FAU. 36% of the bets, 72% of the money on FAU, but fuck them. And for this total, 83% of the bets, 82% of the money on the under in this game. So fascinating stuff there. Little FIU for Connor. What else you on?
Yeah, I got another one here. There's one more I'll hit on. Illinois State, Belmont. Illinois State just plays a little bit too slow for me because when I see a 150, almost 149, if this was lower, I'd be on their over. I want to back them, especially Belmont team's going to get up and down. You saw it a few weeks ago when they played McNeese. That total was way too low. I think it was 136 or 7, just about 10 days ago. So I think that game, that was a lean for me. But in this one here, Portland State, let's go to the late games here. Portland State at Seattle. Seattle, this team has not been very good to start the year. But one place they play better is at home. And they just got blasted by Duke, 70-48. But where they'll have success here, I don't think they cover the number. They'll be able to score. One of the worst defensive teams in the country is coming to town, Portland State. They just get up and down. One of the fastest teams in almost every metric you look at. 30th in pace, 8th. And they've been great. And one thing, they've been able to score, this team, quickly. And they give up tons of points, Jose, this Portland State team. You know, to bad teams here. And they lose 91 points they gave up to St. Thomas, 91 to Milwaukee. San Diego's 85-76. Crazy. When they played Washington State to open the year, that game was like in the 150s. It was 100-92. So the Seattle team isn't very good. But I thought at this line, 145.5 was it. But there's 146s out there. Seattle can do enough and score plenty. They'll get back to the games they had earlier, like against Eastern Washington at home, with a way better pace because Portland State's just going to want to get up and down. They average 85 points, Portland State. They give up 83. Pathetic, okay? And they give up 363 in the country, 44% from three. Not that Seattle's the greatest shooting team, but they should have success here tonight. This game goes over. Give me over 146. And I think that's the best number we have. This is going to get over just because of Portland State. And Portland State might be in this game. I've been wanting to fade Seattle. They've just been a little bit different this year. Lost a bunch of pieces. They are better at home, but Portland State might be able to hang around. This number's at 8. Okay, 145.5 here, Jose.
Beautiful. Minus 110.
Let me get. Yep, minus 110.
All right, minus 110 there for Connor. It's a pretty split ticket-wise market for the total. Only 727 tickets in, which is, again, hilarious. But, hey, those are the tickets we've got. I like that bet. We roll on. Connor, I will also, by the way, mention just for those interested in the spread there, that Seattle, I need to find it again. Seattle was getting 53% of the bets and 70% of the money on the spread there. So over for Connor, 145.5 there. Abel has 146.5, but he's on the over there as well. What else, Connor?
That's it. Those are my 2 games today.
All right. Well, beautiful. 2 games for Connor. He likes the over again. We've mentioned there over.
That's why I told Cab. I think he's probably busy. I was like, get on here. Get out his bets.
Well, do you want to quickly just comment then, Connor? He likes Alabama first half, +1. I shouldn't say likes. He's bet Alabama first half +1 there. Kansas full game -3.5 there. Auburn +1.5, and he's also on Baylor +1.5 first half, and Jeremy Roach over 2.5 threes. Any of those games that stuck out to you?
Yeah, let's rip through them. Baylor, I get it. I mean, UConn, just after the horrible tournament in Maui, I mean, defensively, they've been awful. This line's gone down a tad bit, the total. But I think they're back here at home. You got to take that because I just don't think Baylor's defense is pretty good. This was a lean for me, this over the 144.5. I mean, it might be played a little bit tighter, but in this range right here, I think it can get over. This isn't the UConn team. Like, they've held down these bad teams that they played to 50 points. But anybody that stepped up in competition, they've given up a shit ton of points here. So is this the same team that was so good defensively the last 2 or 3 years? I don't know. And UConn's back here on their home court. Like, this is a game they need to win. After getting that ass kicked in Maui, they need to win here at home if they got anything This line's moved to 3. It was right around 2.5. I kind of thought it was maybe a buy low on UConn, but they're not a really team that I'm looking to run to after what I just watched. So, but I lean over in that game. Kansas, Creighton's Cockbrenner sat out that last game that they played. And what was it? Who'd they play? Notre Dame. They didn't cover in the end, too. They had a really, really good first half. I think they won by 4 and didn't cover. Creighton needs a big win at home. It's a wait and see till he plays. Like right now, this Kansas team, I'd roll with them as well. Like Cab did. I know they've been dealing with some stuff. There's some sickness and stuff like that. I saw the last couple of days when I was going through some of these teams. I don't know, how much you go on by hearing these flu reports. But I've heard that a little bit with him. Creighton always plays better at home. That's a good one, but I think they're good enough to get that. And this Duke game, this is stretched to 3.5 now.
I believe.
Or is that now? Or is it still 2.5? Caesars 3.5. DraftKings 3.5. A lot of Duke love. Auburn. This Auburn team is stacked. The one place just consistently for them, though, year in and year out, is on the road. They've struggled on the road, away from home. So Cameron Indoor should be rocking tonight. But like Cab takes this, he thinks he's getting a team that's probably just as good. He's getting a couple points first half with them, and he thinks they can hang. So, I mean, but a tough one there. Tough game. I kind of lean under. As good as there, I thought Duke's defense has been playing well, whether I saw Arizona isn't great, but I think they've been playing some really, really good team defense as Duke. So I kind of lean under in that game, right around 147.
Connor, I think I'm going to move in. It's hilarious. Obviously, good old Cab is on Auburn first half. I think I'm going to move on Duke full game.
It's moving that way. It's moving. Yeah, I mean,
minus 2.5 opener. You mentioned it's now at 3.5 here. And the public betting splits in 14,000 tickets in on this game. Not surprising at all compared to 700 in Portland State, Seattle. But 58% of the bets and 72% of the money on Auburn here, and we still moved in the other way. So there's bigger bets coming in on Auburn, and the markets are kind of spitting all that money and say you liked it at 2.5. Here's a 3.5. You make more wagers on them.
Classic spot. The public's all over Auburn. What they've just seen. They've seen this team go undefeated.
Maui,
6-1 ATS. And now, first true road game here for them. A real at Duke. But that's why the public's all over Auburn. But Duke's is such a public team, too. It's a little hard to take, from a team like that that's so public. But their guard play is just great for Auburn. All these guys are playing well. Cardwell, Broom, of course. And he's consistently, he should score around 20 a game there. I was going through props. I think the prices were pretty good tonight. I kind of want to take Oregon's TJ Bamba. It's right around 12.5. I was hoping to just get 11.5 or 12. He's been playing pretty well. The old Washington State Villanova guard now at Oregon. I've been impressed with Oregon. This is a tricky spot. USC not playing very good basketball. They got their ass kicked even in New Mexico. The final was 83-73, but they were losing by 20 a lot of that game. So usually a tough spot for Oregon, to go there on the road, which is now a Big Ten game. It's just weird to say. It's holy shit. Oregon SC, Big Ten game. Man, but I like Bamba a little bit. I just didn't bet it. Yeah, if it was 11.5, I'd take it. Because I think he gets 15 tonight off like a 11 or 12 point game too. He's usually bounced back from those games. So TJ Bamba, look out for that.
I think the conference realignment is definitely going to feel the weirdest in basketball. In football, it's one thing, football is so big money that it's like whatever, like those conferences. But like in basketball, when we're going Oregon USC Big Ten game, I was like that's gonna be like what the fuck, what are we doing here? Or we're gonna talk SMU Cal ACC. I'm like, oh, that's just weird, but Whatever.
Weird.
That's the word. That's the world we live in now. So shout out to all of them. Beautiful work, Connor. I appreciate you for joining me here on Wednesdays. I love your insights, and I love the way you break down basketball games and college in general here. I think you're one of the best to do it there, obviously with your partner, Ian Cameron, hitting the books there as well. Please go subscribe, hitting the books on the YouTube channel. So I appreciate you, Connor. Anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
Yeah, just check out Hitting the Books like you talked about. Give it a like, give it a subscribe. That's it. Shout out to the chat, everyone in here. Long show, Jose. Had to break it down today. But everyone in here, Robert Franklin, Rez Mob, Abel. Okay, he's on the over. Right on. Nasty Nate, Jared Bush, everyone in here, Moneyball, Morgan Spooner, Chris Carter, in here, Kong's Clips, my guy. But everyone, Coin, all you guys. Let's have a great day.
Let's have a great day. Thank you, Conor Mac Picks. And thank you, everyone in the chat. We appreciate you guys. Nasty Nate, it's nice to see you. Hopefully I can make my way up to the Northeast sometime soon, my guy. Rez, appreciate you guys. Robert Franklin, KHJH3. Good luck today, my man, to you as well. Jared Bush, Morgan Spooner, Moneyball, Stephen Miller, Sharon, Christopher Carter, Kongs. Thank you for dropping your big plays in here as well. Mel, by the way, great capper as well. Mel dropped this in here as well. Mark your calendars to bet the Habs tomorrow. Team total, money line, something tomorrow. So shout out to you, Melly Mel. Ron Crawford in here. Andrew G, appreciate you for being in here. Old E, Platinum Paul, Rick J, Preston Ekdahl was in here for a bit. Justin McKelvey in here as well. Shout out to you, Justin, my guy. So good luck to everyone here. God, no, I'm just saying. That's just something to say, Nasty Nate. Nothing's in the cards yet. I'm just saying it to saying. I'm putting out in the universe, so hopefully I can end up in Boston sometime soon. But thank you guys all so much for watching in here. We'll be back again tomorrow. You guys know Thursdays at Pub Sports Radio are loaded. Jimmy the Bag in the morning, breaking down a shitload of games, obviously. And we have the Cappers Contest show here. I almost said as well, Nasty Nate, but I am not going to say it. But the Cappers Contest show, 3 p.m. Eastern, coming off a 5-0 week in the Cappers Contest for us voting. So shout out to you guys. Thank you all for watching. Say hey, and we'll see you guys next time.